or what do they need to have ready? Something special?
Well, as we can look on the statistics from the first match, we can see that both on Train and Ancient, they struggled on the CT side. On both maps, they did a terrible job. Only on Dust 2, it worked out well for them. So maybe some setups for CT side, maybe something aggressive that we will see from them, because on Train it was really dictating tempo from Fnatic side. So maybe something similar to that. Of course, there were some struggles with the T side from 9. So maybe I think that it can be something from the CT side.
Something from our CT side.
Yeah.
Okay, they need to improve that for sure.
Definitely.
Storm, if we look at what happened yesterday, not yesterday, the first day, of course, I mean, Rals, he's definitely not top fragging for the team. He needs to improve.
He needs to improve well. I mean, if you look at the team as a whole, when it comes to statistics side of things, then Faven is the only one that's actually in green numbers. So the rest of the team is deep in the red. So, of course, all the team has to improve by the individual side. You can see the one staple, of course, Faven. Yeah. Even though it wasn't an easy way into the tournament and it wasn't an easy best-of-3 yesterday, Faven still managed to keep his level up top, and yeah, definitely a most decorated player right now for them.
8th best in terms of numbers in the individual statistics, let's say, with 1.12, so top 8 for him, but he's the only one from 9 up there.
9. Yeah, I mean, yesterday there were some glimpses. Bob's D played very well, or something like that. But
Ace as well.
Let's now move on to the other team. Let's hear what Mattis from Fnatic has to say about the upcoming match.
Hello Mattis, tough loss for you yesterday. What is the mood in the team after that loss?
I think it's not the end, right? We know we lost, but we know why we lost, and we are here to repair it. It's not over. We have still 2 chances to qualify for the playoffs, and we're gonna take it.
So what do you think is the main reason that you lost?
I think a lot of it, to be honest, communication, individual skills. So we didn't shoot hard like we did the first game we played against 9 also. And I think also when it comes to decision making, we hesitated in some scenarios that made a difference against ENCE, obviously.
It looked like individually you are not on point yesterday. Not only you, but the whole team, because you lost many 1v1 or 2v1 situations. Do you feel the same about the match?
Yeah, I think we also saw the scenarios. We could have gone both ways, you know. But I think a little bit more dedication towards finishing the round, no matter what, could help for sure. But I think the biggest factor was the communication part. I think the bounce off each other, like, guys, there is one guy here, but I don't think he's gonna copy the ATC, play other areas. This kind of little bounce, I think that make the biggest difference.
What is the main thing you need to fix in the communication then? Because your communication was kind of on point, as you said, on Friday. So what was the main difference yesterday?
Exactly, that's the biggest, not like a solution, I would say, but we can look easily at the way we played the first day and we remember it, and that's what we're gonna look today for.
Against 9, you are switching sides of losing and winning all over again. Your coach said it is kind of a El Clasico because you play them too often. Do you think it's advantage or disadvantage for you now?
I think it's always nice to play them. You know, they're also not random team. You know, they try to play structured, so it's not like you're gonna hate to play against them. You know, it's very nice to play against them. It's a good CS, I think. And yeah, obviously we played many times against each other recently, last 1 or 2 months. But I think it's fine. Honestly, there is not gonna be much special. Maybe they're gonna add some few new rounds. You know, maybe we also. So we'll see. It's gonna be a nice clash again.
You beat them online, but you are losing again against them online. So it is an advantage for you to play online. Why do you think that so? You think that you are a more experienced team when it comes to players with their experiences online?
I think experience for sure, but also the feeling that we're gonna play online again after a little bit longer time, you know, especially with the new roster. Since Jumbo joined, we didn't play a single LAN yet. So I think that's also a big plus for us, I think.
What was your schedule like yesterday and today? What are you doing to get back to the focus or also chill a bit?
A little bit chill. We went with each other, of course, with a little bulk, and now we're gonna prepare for sure for the match. Maybe we're gonna add new map to pick, we'll see, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I asked your coach if you are going to try something new in the Veto. Are you familiar with all the maps in the pool the same way, or are you maybe different maps are working for you differently right now?
I think it depends on the day, to be honest. We're gonna sit with each other and say, guys, I think this is gonna be the best choice to play against this specific team and this team. We know we can play all the maps we play, especially a part of Instaban, of course, but I think it will not matter what map is gonna be today again. If we even on the first day when we joined and we tried to play against them, it would not matter what maps we're gonna play. I think we're gonna keep our cool, we're gonna keep the calmness, communication, we're gonna shoot hard. I think it will not matter what map it's gonna be. It's gonna be a great match no matter what.
We are talking together now 2 hours prior to match. Is your plan clear right now when it comes to Veto, or are you still going through some discussions?
I think it's gonna be clear. Obviously, I'm not gonna share on cameras, but I think it's gonna be very clear.
Okay, thank you so much for the interview and good luck.
Thank you.
I mean, for Matis, it would be very painful to leave on a 3rd place. That's a position he knows very well from this arena, right?
Yeah, for him it would be heartbreaking, but I think they have the right mentality to actually pull through today. Of course, if it's going to come into practices, we're going to see that in a few, well, quite a few minutes. But yeah, Matis has the home ground advantage, has the fans here, and has all the needed ingredients in his team to actually pull through. Of course, Fnatic, top 2 favorite of the tournament, a well-decorated British organization stapled in a golden history a decade back. And honestly, coming off of a disappointing Austin MRQ, battling it out for their first LAN win of this year. And we cannot not mention new additions of a star AVP here in a Jumbo and an IGL in Fear. Change of mentality with it, ways, and of course with the Swedish legend Crims, 2-time major winner, and a loyal soldier of Fnatic, almost 11 years in the same organization. Of course, there was a bit of a hiatus in a different team, but still he's sticking it out with this team. And I have to say that in the near future, probably, maybe in a longer future, they are gonna see a bit higher. We are gonna see them a bit higher on the ladder. This is definitely not their peak, and we might be seeing champions in the making here.
For sure, for sure. I mean, when we look at this gentleman with a sword there, we have to talk about Crims. He seems like a different animal on LAN than online.
Yeah, definitely. And despite that, he's in a really, let's say, hard position, because we usually see Matis, who set whole career on the very left side of the team table. But now there is Crims, and we all know that Matis is playing with mouse in his left hand,
that's true.
and Crims in the right hand, so they can be clashing on the mouse pad. And that's something I would really like to talk about with someone from them, because it's pretty rare to see someone playing with mouse in left hand. And for Crims, it might be a struggle a little bit, because he needs to, oh, Matis, don't hit me.
And especially with that mouse pad of Matis.
You don't want to touch that, for
but
sure.
The only thing I would still mention about Fnatic, about the yesterday's and the games before, is that CT side, they're struggling. They're struggling on multiple maps, especially on Dust and Ancient. And I think that's something that Nine can actually take advantage of.
We can definitely ask our amazing production team to maybe point one camera to the clash of mousepads there. But let's get to Veto, gentlemen. Will we see Train? Will we see Dust? What will be?
There's going to be mind games, probably. I'm not sure if we can expect Train. It might be. But so far, it seems like Nine are going for their default bans. Okay. It's Inferno for Nine.
It's Inferno, okay.
Why not, I would say, because yesterday against 500, they didn't really look bad. Ancient. Well, for Fnatic, it was either Ancient or Train, given that they managed to beat this opponent 2 days ago, especially on those 2 maps.
Nine left Train there. Nine left the Train. They chose to ban Anubis instead of Train.
Is this what they were cooking?
I mean,
like Favan said, that something will be different.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just go to 2 maps or something.
Maybe the Inferno.
Just go to 2 maps or something.
Maybe the Inferno was what he meant. That's a possibility as well.
Definitely.
Because, yeah, of course they play it, but it's definitely not their first pick usually.
Surprising one from...
That's definitely not their first pick usually.
Surprising one from Nine.
But they had to be surprising. I mean, after the Friday, they had to be surprising. They had to change something.
Yes, but I mean, leaving Train, where you go into it with the... Yes, but I mean, leaving Train, where you go into it with the mindset of, okay, everything now is on this map. It's a decider. And last time it was 13-2. I mean, isn't that like so much pressure here on LAN?
On the other hand, it's good for a decider because you have a chance with the knife round, so you can somehow avoid the fact that Fnatic will start on CT side and brutally smash you.
It's a coin flip, though.
That's a coin flip, yeah.
So maybe some preparation was on point there, and they felt like this map could be a possible decider, if not their map pick. And plus, we have to talk about Mattis' curse on this venue, because he was here 2 times on the separated tournaments. He was 1 time 3rd, 1 time 4th. So
he needs to
never.
Cartão C6 Carbon Mastercard Black. Salas VIP no mundo todo. Até 3,5 pontos por dólar gasto. Pontos que não expiram. E você escolhe a cor que tem mais a ver com você. Cartão C6 Carbon Mastercard Black. Para suas viagens e para a sua vida.
Who else can stand up? I mean, Fear, of course, the IGL. He should be the one who can keep the team calm.
And
because
definitely Jumbo.
yesterday, on Anubis, they went kind of all over the place in the last rounds.
Yeah, when it comes to the Anubis and the CT side, it just wasn't good. There was not enough good decisions, especially in the late rounds. They had good early defaults on T side. Well, you could say probably on CT side as well. But late round decisions just didn't went well for them. And I think they need to improve on that. They know that. And you just said that you met them today around midnight, that they actually came out of the Vodafone Plaza Arena here. They were doing demo reviews. So I think they actually concentrated especially on this. And today we're not going to see bad decision making as well as we saw yesterday.
Let's check what our bookmakers think, or bookmakers from Tipsport, our titular partner, think about this match, when we now know Veto, Fnatic still heavily favored against 9, but I mean, the odds for first map winner for 9, they are interesting.
Okay. For me, yeah. I mean, it's a decision. It's a surprising decision to pick Inferno, but still, they know why they picked it. So 2.15, I think, is a good odds for the bettors who actually want to take a chance on this.
And I mean, we saw Inferno yesterday, and it wasn't that bad. It was it was nicely controlled. Banana, perfect control there. Bobsgdy did amazing job. I mean, the utility and usage of that was great. Rotations were also on point. So I don't know, 215 on Inferno. I mean,
it's going to depend. Honestly, it's going to depend a lot how the AVPers actually play on CT side. I'm wondering how Jumbo and how Mantu are going to perform, because yesterday Mantu
himself
extremely well. Plus 14 AVP kills, and when we take it in comparison with the first day, he had like 3.
Yes, and on Inferno, that's interesting thing you said, because some op players don't necessarily go for AWP
on T side.
All the time on T side, right? But Mantu is one of the players who is not afraid of buying or taking op if it's available.
Yeah, and plus he's really good with AK as well. For example, on one of the previous nukes, we saw him with many kills with AK-47 and not op. So maybe rifle. This will work for him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No.
But Jumbo doesn't really stand in his shadow as well. We could see him pretty much, and you can
there we
see
go.
Mattis' mouse.
I mean, there it seems to be like plenty of space.
Did he move?
I think he moved.
I think they may have switched around, I guess.
That's the edge of the table, right?
Yeah,
it looks like that.
Yeah, so maybe Crims actually went
That
in trouble.
was the reason. That was the reason why they lost.
Yeah.
So this is what they were talking about yesterday.
So different sitting setup for Fnatic. So they are also cooking. they're switching things around. The mousepad is still the same though. It's a daddy mousepad.
I think at the end of its life, whenever Mattis actually hangs his keyboard and mouse and retires, I think it should go to some museum.
Oh, no.
For sure.
Blast incident preparation there.
I think he should have like a sticker with should be the border, should be the mousepad or something like that. Okay, gentlemen, let's go to your predictions, because I'm really interested on what do you think? I mean, we saw what bookmakers think, but Storm, will this be 3 maps? Will this be 2 maps? What can we expect?
3rd maps depends on Inferno. If 9 get it, of course, 3 maps. If they don't, I think it's going to be 2-0 for Fnatic. I'm gonna go in this direction. I do believe they have the right mentality. They have the quality to actually push through, even though 9 is a really hard opponent.
Do you think Enchant is then like basically settled? It's done.
I think so, honestly. Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Kote? You
No,
don't seem to be.
I don't.
I do.
Every day is different, and I think every ancient is different as well.
I like this outlook on life. I like this. Yeah.
Okay, so what we discussed Inferno in depth. If we just go for a little bit into the Ancient then, is it same thing as in Inferno? Is it op? Is it default place?
I
not
don't
so
really
much.
think so, because you have many possibilities how to take different position, either on CT side and T side as well. And from the last results, we can see that 9 actually beat Fnatic on this map in CCT. So I think they are confident with their gameplay and their plan. But of course, in the first time, it didn't went well for them. But as I've mentioned, it depends how are you feeling it in that very day. So I think the result 13-5 in favor of Fnatic was not just coincidence, but it's not as representative as we can say.
Yeah, they actually met 4 times, and 4 times it was Ancient in the Veto. So this is something we can rely on between these two teams. And whenever...
And it's 2-2 on Ancients.
Exactly. What I wanted to say just was that whenever 9 won, it was really close, but when Fnatic won, it was pretty much a stomp. So that's the difference between those two.
Is there something in the mindset maybe of the teams? Because 9 advancing here through win, Fnatic falling down through loss, right? Both teams, 9 excelled in their match, Fnatic lost 0-2. So is there something maybe that can play here? Like Fnatic are on the rise, 9 are on the rise with winning, start of the winning streak, and Fnatic on a maybe beginning of the losing one.
I don't really think so. In my honest opinion, it doesn't matter, because you go step by step, as everyone is mentioning here. So
Especially coaches.
I don't think that in this short format it does matter. You don't have like 5 days in a row lose streak or something like this. It was one bad day or one bad match. It doesn't matter, honestly, for me.
The only thing maybe, I agree with you, but the only thing maybe I'm just going to add to it is it might matter in the beginning, and it depends how 9 actually handle the beginning of the first map. If that's true, they can carry the momentum from yesterday, maybe sit it right in their heads. Fnatic might strangle in their thoughts, so depends. But other than that, I agree with you.
I mean, they both have veterans. We mentioned that before. Raus on one side, and honestly, if you look at the Fnatic roster, there is many, but Krims is probably the one who has the longest record or longest work record in a CS. I mean, can you look to these players and they have so many lands after that. They played in so many lands, right? But now it's long gap for Fnatic before they. Is there some nerves now coming up again? Because it's like, oh, I haven't ridden the bike for half a year, so do I really remember how to do it? Or is this just, no, it's a minor LAN in Czech Republic. I mean, let's get it over, boys.
I think for Krims, it's like, whenever, let's just use some analogy. Whenever you need to learn how to walk again, you need to have, the sticks to actually, help you move. But he has them in form of experience. He has them next to him all the time. So for him, I don't think it's going to matter. For the rest of the team, he's going to pull through everyone. He's going to take them on his shoulders. And it's going to be much better for them in this case because of those experience. They're invaluable.
Perfect. Well, let's welcome our players in the arena. One team for the very last time won. Well, we'll see them again, but Davkoni, take it over.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage of Vodafone Playzone Arena. Only 2 series until we know who will be crowned the Conquistador of Prague. 1 team is already waiting in the final. 2 teams will battle for the final tickets now. And the first team to welcome here on the stage is 9. Kragen, I see you are looking forward for the match. You are hyped up. The mood in the team is good right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're ready for some revenge.
Everyone is saying the match against Fnatic is kind of El Clasico. You are meeting them very often. You play them here already. What will be different in this match?
I think it's going to be just as crazy as the last time we played them. This is maybe the 4th time, so there's going to be some crazy rounds and some mind games, I think. But other than this, I think, yeah, it's going to be a good game, and we're going to be ready for sure.
Thank you so much, and good luck, Team 9! As we said already, the team that will enter now already beat Team 9 in the first round, but then lost to ENCE, so they will have to do it again in terms of promoting into the finals. It's Team Fnatic! Chris, you beat 9 already, but the Veto is very different now. How successfully you picked the map, and how do you feel about the third map, the train? Will we see train now today?
Nah, it's gonna be a quick 2-0, I think. We're very confident on every map, so just nice with a change.
What the mood in the team is, because you seemed a little bit tense after yesterday's loss. Is it already different?
Yeah, just sloppy big game from our side. We had a talk yesterday. Should be all good today.
Thank you so much and good luck, Fnatic! Truly crucial match for both teams, because everyone wants to be the Conquistador of Prague. Let's see who will meet ENCE in the finals.
Today we crowned the conqueror of Prague, the best team at the end of this long journey. But even before that, we need to see who will be our second finalist. Fnatic versus 9 in the lower bracket. Luba and Pronogo here to review all the action of this day. Will Fnatic make the repeat of the first day, or does 9 have something else to say, Pronogo?
9 has something else to say, all right. They got a very interesting veto. And I got to be honest, from the outside perspective, not knowing what they got up to, not knowing what their practice looked like, this veto looks whack. This veto looks like they are deciding to pick Fnatic's statistically best map that many people avoid versus them, probably because of how confident they are on Inferno. And they're giving the opportunity for Fnatic to start off on the preferred side. So that already spells to me that if, as Krim says, they had a sloppy beginning against ENCE yesterday, well, they're not going to have many tools to sort of continue to keep that beginning sloppy. 9 are not going to have tools to control Fnatic's pace change unless they've done a lot of prep. So already some concerns, some question marks on the veto phase for map number 1.
Yeah, hopefully 9 did their homework. I mean, the sample size is relatively small when it comes to Fnatic. They don't play as many maps per month as most of the other tier 2 sides, right. Most of the other teams that were in this competition before. However, hopefully 9 did catch some of those matches and see maybe what Fnatic does wrong. I really hope that 9 didn't pick Inferno just off the basis of, all right, you beat 500 yesterday, but that was off of OT, that was off of a sort of a comeback. You don't really want to put yourself in a deficit after your map pick. Of course, we've seen trades of map picks throughout this tournament, but that's not really something you want to hope for if you want to make it to the finals.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And you look at this lineup, of course, they have had plenty of success, plenty of inconsistency as well. A rocky little situation for every team here. Nobody is exempt from that little label, not even ENCE, who wait in the final. So this is an opportunity for poise. This is an opportunity for consistency. Fnatic are going to be looking to dispense with their challengers here and now. And I love that Krim said it's going to be a quick 2-0. I don't necessarily know if that's actually the fate of this particular series, but the fact that he's got that confidence and isn't afraid to say it feels good to be, you know, of course, there's plenty of Fnatic fans in the arena. I'm sure they appreciate hearing that from you know, maybe not the actual in-game leader, that's Fear, but the spiritual leader in many respects, the veteran voice on the side of Fnatic.
Yeah, and absolutely. And when Crims says something like that, you know that you might be in for a little bit of danger if you're 9. Of course, Crims hasn't had the best numbers in the recent past, but one of the series where he really popped off was against 9 on Friday. So really 9 got to be careful for the individuals on the side of Fnatic, as it was one of the contributing factors why Fnatic actually won that best of 3, simply due to the fact that they really hit the ground running and their individuals popped off. You got Mattis, you got Blamef, you got Jumbo, you got Crims. All of them posted significantly better figures that you would expect them to actually do, and especially in a LAN environment where you can get a little bit intimidated by your opponents.
Intimidation is a factor, and especially since these little booths that the players are in, they're exactly where you're going to be looking between rounds if you're concerned about that sort of thing. And ladies and gentlemen, we are gearing up for our first pistol. Fnatic taking on 9 on favored ground, despite it being 9's map pick. Fnatic will begin the affairs on the CT side. Just as soon as we are good and ready, we will be seeing those pistols come out. And I want to know, how many dualies are we going to see on that CT side? Where are the half-wall sprays coming down? I'm already starting to play-by-play it in my head.
Oh, yeah. That could be expected. Of course, we've talked about it, I think, a couple of days ago, that the dualies are much more common than they were back in the day. And now even online CS, you can see a few teams that pick up more than 2 pairs of dualies. I've actually seen a couple of times 5 pairs of dualies on a pistol round, and that is really something that can catch you off guard. You're kind of hoping that with Glocks you can go into some close quarters combat and actually get a kill, but then the dualies start firing off, and then you might be in a little bit of trouble. Though both teams are facing elimination if they lose their best of 3. Of course, ENCE awaits in the grand finals, and the grand finals will be seen today. But before that, one of these 2 teams needs to leave the competition. It's Fnatic on the CT side, 9 on their map pick, and we are scratching our heads why they picked Inferno. Let's see what they got ready.
Well, they've definitely got a B rush. Ladies and gentlemen, Dodpread Paledne. Vodafone, you're watching Fear take Rawls out immediately. There's plenty more action there, and look at that, another frag towards Pool, and he is staying alive, but easily overwhelmed now. The Kraken been released. Already a 3v2, broken round with the bomb planted on B.
Yeah, Kraken, he saw 2 players towards Banana. They can assume that one is in CT and that one just taps Kraken. Taps him out of the road. Oh my God, what the hell was that? Bob with the clutch. Blink and you miss it. He claims 3 heads and claims the first for 9. Welcome to the last day.
All right, all right. Well, I didn't think that their game plan involved a ridiculous tapathon. Like he's playing whack-a-mole with the USP from Coffin. We'll take that. I'm sure we'll get that on replay here. Here we go. So this is how the affair started. Fear kind of getting a couple of gimmies with Blamef taking Favin out elsewhere. Just what that, man, that was so good. But look at this, the fadeaway second kill, and he just has Jambo's number there. I mean, you can tell Rawls didn't expect that. He wasn't calling that. Bob go kill. But that's the play. That's what happens. And listen, with the bomb plant down as well, they've got flush with cash into the second round. A very well-equipped second buy. We got plenty of comms on for Fnatic. Let's see what the game plan is here.
Yeah, you just type XD in chat after you do that to them. All right.
Why is he typing the last part of his name? What's going on?
All right, Fnatic on a sloppy buy. Let's see what you can do. 2 SMGs, a scout in the hands of Jambo. You're gonna have 2 pistols in this one, hoping to catch somebody off guard, hoping to maybe surprise 9.
Not a bad setup here for Fnatic with 2 members so far forward. Hometown favorite, Mattis, he is in there with the P250 and Boiler. That's close range engagements in both of these situations. A force buy can absolutely find value. Favin needs to clear, and will, but that's a lot of damage. Mattis might be able to go live to grab that Galil. That's certainly an option. Oh, well, Kraken now very, very low, and so is Favin. Easy fast frags from the P250. Not able to scarper away with a gun. That might have even been an opportunity for him to slow the whole round to a crawl, but instead, we do have the rest of Fnatic setting up to see if they can't find anybody else. The scout yet to get active. We've got another SMG, another Deagle.
Yeah, they're quite far away from the site. need to gain some ground if they actually want to search for a frag. Not going to find it just yet, and without a kit, you know that this might be already over. Though, Jambo did grab that Galil, so they can be a little bit happy with what happened in this round, taking 2 guns away from the opposition and saving something from yourself, also doing some economic damage as Bob XZ hits the deck. It's going to be the second round for 9, but a Pyrrhic victory. That's going to cause their economy to be a little bit worse for wear, as Fnatic are going to have some equipment in the next.
Yeah, we'll take that for Fnatic. They're going to have that Galil brought over, an important one. And now we get to see what all's going on here. I mean, really Matt is impressed with the P250, but was set up for success after that, all that damage dealt to Faven earlier. And that close range angle, it's more deadly than you think, rounding the corner to Boiler. So 9 do take some economic damage, and you can tell Rawls on the Mac 10. I mean, we can see that in gun rounds, so let's not be kidding ourselves here. But certainly a familiar weapon. Fear, set up for the spray. Oh, but I don't think he was ever going to be good for more than 1 there, with how elegant that spacing was.
And Rawls, the raid boss with the Mac 10.
Yeah.
It's a 4-on-4. Still, let's not count Fnatic out of this just yet. But somebody is going to have to make a heroic play. Would that be Matt? As the answer seems to be a resounding no, as he's got nowhere to run, and Faven will just take him down. Still, a slow approach from 9 will lead Fnatic to rotate. Give them a chance to set up a defense. As small as these guns are, they can still pose a threat.
Yeah, it feels like Jambo in a one-and-done position, though, and he whips the shot, so the Deagle can't bail him out of trouble, and that will be an easy wallbang for Kragan. Overwhelming the site very, very simply. BlameF all the way on the other side of the map. Would have liked him getting a little bit aggressive towards top banana. I know, obviously, if you die there, there's no trade, because everybody else rotated over, but it would have been nice to see him push a little bit away from the site, just to see if he can get info, even if he does it in a jiggle peek fashion where he's not exposing himself too much. Would have been an opportunity for him to confirm everybody was there and maybe set up for more team play later down the line. But it is just the last vestiges of the 4-spy on the CT side that went unsuccessfully for Fnatic, as 9 are about to string 3 together. And BlameF might be able to upgrade his MP9. Crosshair ever so slightly off the head, but with an MP9, does it really matter? Rawls will fall back away. That was a battle of the 2 titans right there, and he was still going for it at the very end, but not quite to beat. Always a funny round when the biggest guys on each squad have the littlest guns.
Yeah. Well, they have the guns in real life. Why do you?
I guess so,
why do you need them in?
Gotta balance them out.
The game, and Rawls. I mean, he showed what he can do with the SMG. First 9 hitting the ground running on Inferno, but Fnatic, they're gonna have a buy in the next one. Already on the big green is Jambo. Good flash, and no chance for the offer of the Fnatic side to even try and hope to get that first kill. Maybe 9 want to bring up some pace in this round, as they're already swarming that A bomb site. This is going to be a test for Jambo, but Mattis actually finds a frag. Now it's Jambo's time to come alive as he finds the first, but he still needs a lot of work to do. And Grimsfeld, Jambo in trouble. Misclick means he's dead, and Mattis follows him to the grave. It's a 3v2 and the bomb site taken.
Well, we haven't had to talk about this yet, but Inferno, the highest frequency CT save map in the pool, and it looks like they might not even get a chance. BlameF, he is in the winery, considering his options. How is he going to path away to keep the A4 into the next round? This is a regular site on this map. No matter who's playing on the CT side, you're going to see a lot of defenders willowing away in opposite directions of the bomb plant. The attack can be just so deadly, and trying to egress back onto the site even harder. With Montu falling, it might be an opportunity for BlameF to score an AK, but
you ain't
he needs
getting
to survive the flank. Yeah.
Cansado de perder batalhas por causa do lag no Call of Duty? Com o Exit Lag, você elimina o lag e joga com a melhor performance. Tenha uma conexão estável em cada partida e conquiste suas vitórias sem interrupções. Experimente Exit Lag e leve sua jogabilidade no Call of Duty para o próximo nível. Assine agora e jogue Call of Duty como nunca antes.
Start around with 4 on B, maybe hoping that they're going to catch a quick push, but rather it was on A, and the defenders didn't rotate in time. Jambo isolated with that up, and the thing is, yeah, he found the first frag, but he missed the second. Even if he had found it, I don't think it would have changed much. That was a one-and-done angle he held on sight, and no chance to survive, no chance to tuck somewhere and keep himself alive. Fnatic back on the smaller weaponry, as Blame F is going to have an M4. The rest of the team, not so much. They're looking for something. Jambo with the scout. Of course, he's shown his prowess with this weapon. Okay. Only attack through the wall to the body of Raul, so he's still going to be battle ready throughout this round.
Yeah, he should still be fine, especially versus the weaponry that might take a little bit longer to get a frag. And look at that, Crims demonstrating it's still a possibility. Oh, Mattis with a P250. He's going to score that AK. Thank you very much. And that puts a lot of pressure onto the B side of the map where Jambo is already rotated with that scout. He can try to tag some players, but instead he's on the receiving end of the damage. Oh, still trying to keep him interested. Blame F with the boost gets cut down immediately. You can't stop the Kraken apparently. Kraken pushing on forward. And, well, he will eventually be cut down by Fear, but there's a big crossfire here and no numbers advantage whatsoever. Montu claws one back. Oh, but might be a possibility, but Pool's already... Let's just say it's closed, and Montu gonna have to move all the way back with that AWP. Look for a save. You can kind of tell that when the crowd's happening. They are clapping away as Fnatic have been able to post one. The only question is, will Montu save the all?
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a hunt courtesy of Fnatic, as they're quite content with the rifles they have. Yeah. And given that this was an eco, it's going to build up a little bit of bank for the CT side. Montu will be able to save this up. The problem is, like, when Blame F died on the site, they knew where Fear was. It was seemingly easy to overwhelm him. I already expected 9 to pounce on the site. They kind of took it slow, waited for Fear to expend his utility, get out of that protective defensive smoke. Didn't really work out for them now, did it?
No, it didn't. And, you know, after the initial sortie down bottom mid, and of course the 2 men in apartments, they already knew that at maximum there were 3 defenders on the site. So they had equalized it in their minds to be a 3v3. You see Crims and Mattis in the kill feed, you know their rotations are going to be relatively fast. And so you know that you've got, at worst, a numbers parity. You know that you're having an even fight, which isn't really what you want as the T's. You do want that unfair numbers advantage, but you can make that work. You just need to go with pace before the rotations show up. And I think they were just stalled out by utility, stalled out by bullets. Fnatic doing very well. Now, it's the jousting for control. They think that medieval jousting is gone. No, it's moved to Inferno Banana. With the first frag going Fnatic's way, Rawls again with the MAC-10.
Brilliant.
Infallible on that gun. He's always good for at least 1 frag, it seems.
And it's like...
That's just an OP asset on in your book, if you think about it.
It's like there's no spread when he uses the MAC-10. Like, every time you see him, he hits the head, even when he's running. And he brought it back into a 4v4, opened up the map for his side, as Fnatic are going to have to play a little bit of passive game. They're going to have to make a risky rotate, and they've done just that, as Crims might have to defend this side against 3 or 4 players. That is going to be a tall order for the man who's only just actually found his first kill of this map.
Yeah, it wasn't that far long ago, but Jambo will find more impact, relieving pressure on the other side of the map. The rotations can be quick. There it is. Headshot towards Boiler. Crims, very impactful frag, and he slinks behind the box. Bavin, no opportunity to punish. Oh, look at that. Keeping them interested, keeping them exposed. Mattis is here for the firepower, for the support, and it's only Montu. He'll cut Crims down, but at what cost? Might be able to look for more, not possible. Another round where not only do Fnatic score, but they keep 3 alive to have their economy flushed.
Oh yeah, it's gonna feel good for Fnatic. A well-controlled round, even though they've lost a player quite early. They still managed to put themselves in a good spot. And Crims just keeping himself alive, finding that first frag and slinking back to the side. That's what kept this round going for Fnatic. Had he fallen so early, the rest of the players, they wouldn't even have a reason to rotate. Now
Yeah, it was really important for him to not only be staying alive, but the fact that he was able to do that while looking for information and getting that first frag before the T's were ready to execute onto the site with their survivors. That is not something you can count on every day, but well, if we roll back the years long enough, that's what Crims was always good for. Two to four, Fnatic on a little bit of a run back here. First rounds were not their friend, but now this one should be a gimme. He only got some Glocks on the other side and Kragen's Deeg. Not really an opportunity for 9 to put much pressure on. And this is a point where we can start to think, are Fnatic going to be going for this information? BlameF is pretty far forward. In theory, potential for him to be overwhelmed. He has fire support from Fear. So this should be a nice and easy wraparound. Oh, Kragen's Deagle does end up finding some value. The smoke there to try to block them off, but yeah, he can tell that position is compromised. So an AK given over to Faven. This should not be a situation where Fnatic lose more than one player, but let's see. As Mattis is smoked off. Oh, this is dangerous. Double pool.
Yeah, not going to be easy for Fear as they're swarming him, and the Glock, it will finish him off. It's still a man advantage, and no Kevlars on the side of 9, but they can hope to plant the bomb. They're going to have to hurry up before that smoke fades, though, as Fnatic have already rotated near enough to the side. Montu has that bomb on his back, and they're just waiting, baiting for Fnatic, but not going to happen as Fnatic have all the info. They have a man on Banana. They know the T's couldn't have gone far. They have to be on the side, and Fnatic have no reason to push on forward until that bomb at least touches the side. Until you hear the plant, you really don't have a reason to face, and now they have to commit. Montu is gonna plant it, and on time. That's a little bit of extra cash. Faven finds 1, but that wasn't enough as Mattis doubles up. It's gonna be 3 for Fnatic.
That's a hugely successful Glock round. And remember, they bought 1 gun, and it was Kragen's Deeg. Opens up onto BlameF, and Fear not able to throw the smoke down and control top bottom Banana. So that's expensive. That undoes a lot of the work that Fnatic have done earlier in this half, keeping 2 rounds in a row where 3 players stay alive. Suddenly, they've only got 2. And it was versus a round that really there was no real investment from the side of 9. So we have to give credit to Kragen, give credit to 9 overall for being able to pounce on that opportunity. Sometimes your opponents will show you their bellies in unexpected ways, and Fnatic had done just that. Versus a lesser team, they might not have been punished, but 9 are not that lesser team. Not today on Inferno, and they'll be threatened in terms of their lead. This could be a tie game at the end of the round, but now we've got 5 AKs.
Oh,
and look at that, Faven opening up as well. Up out of the picture.
Yeah, that's a good start. Faven, he knows his angles. That's well done. Fear needed that frag, and he found it. 4v4, but now 9 know they have no control of Banana. No info on the side of Fnatic. A wild spray in the end connects as Mattis hits the deck. Now Crim's in trouble. He needs to fight and find a frag. Only one he will, though. And BlameF, maybe it's his time to do something sneaky. Not gonna happen, not just yet. Fear on the rotate, but a man disadvantage. They're gonna have to hurry themselves up. They do have a kit and 2 pieces of utility to work with, but this is a question, do you want to commit to this round?
Well, there's no flashing, that's the real problem. Maybe Fear can scrape some together. BlameF has the kit, so that's really the linchpin here, as they are taking their sweet time to clear out angles. Make it feel like maybe they've gone for the save. Fear, he is gonna get interested towards apartments, but Bob is so far away. And yeah, the bomb is too far ticked now. There's no hope to get on the bomb fast enough, and BlameF getting cut down just adds insult to injury. At least Fear will get away with 2 frags at the end. He'll keep an AK into the next round, and there will be another investment. Fear can drop the op. There's still room here for Fnatic, but that was a round that they could ill afford to drop, especially after losing so many players to just Glocks.
Oh yeah. And a technical, or rather a tactical pause coming in from Fnatic and their coach. We're gonna see what that brings. Their new coach, Independent. Let's see what you have in store. What did you think of in this current state of affairs as Fnatic? It really looked like they're gonna get a tied result, like that CT side has adapted well enough to what 9 have been doing. But this round really didn't go so well. Starting from this kill, early, overzealous maybe from Jambo to try and hold that angle. Then one by one, they just get swarmed.
Yeah, the fact that Jambo ends up going down in Boiler in an untradeable position, no support from the upper apps, it's no opportunity for him to do anything. And I think that move with pace from 9 really did start to cause problems for the defense. Well, Fear's position is known, but no surprises there. There's actually 3 members over here. They're setting up with a big amount of utility, but he has to fight through the flames and just gets cut down with a shot through the smoke. And Kragen, he goes for Mattis's head as well. He's got him. He's got all 3. The B site is open. This is a 6th round for 9.
Oh yeah, that's a definite. As they really wanted to find that frag back, and to be honest, they did find one, but Kragen really is tapping quite well as he's already on double digits. Jambo gonna keep himself alive at least for now, and he's still contemplating looking for another kill. This round done and dusted though, at some point he's gonna have to go somewhere where it's a bit more safe. But Fnatic again in a deficit of 3 rounds as 9 have managed to adjust, managed to adapt. And even starting with that round, they took 3 guys with only buying that one Deagle. That kind of goes to show that maybe 9 have something in store, maybe they have something planned for Inferno, and that's the reason why they picked it.
Crafty from Crims to make it all the way into Graveyard there for just a moment. Manages to find Bob lurking through the A-bomb site and stay alive. So there's some promise into the next round that they'll have some weapons with which to fight back. The problem is 9 are just running circles around them in these opening frags. This is maybe the 4th round in a row where I think we've seen opening frags dictate immediately, like with pace, where the bomb ends up going or whether the round goes the other way decisively. And sometimes it's been in favor of Fnatic. You think about Crimson Mattis using lesser weapons to clear apartments. But a lot of the time it's 9 finding an opening pick, and it's usually not just one.
Yeah, and the thing is, I like that. I like to just keep it simple. Find the first frag, and then you kind of know where the opening is. When you wait for the CTs to rotate, you don't know if they went on a stack, if they decided to stack maybe 3 or 4 players onto one side. Rawls onto Mag 10, he might get destroyed, and he does. But Kragen, they're opening and closing everything. As he's taken control of the B-bomb side, the rest of the Fnatic players can only save what they got, and Faven already at the lurk, looking to relinquish these rifles, and he's gonna do just that, finding 1. Damage to the second, but his fate is sealed as Mattis is ready to take him down. Might get rewarded with an AK for that, but it's 9 hitting 7, and now this T side is looking really freaking dangerous.
Yeah, listen, they've secured the half win. Fnatic are going to have to really move mountains just to score 5 on the CT side. And again, this is a map that they don't play as often as some of the other teams, some of the other maps in the pool for them, but some of the other teams of Counter-Strike anyway. You think about Tier 2 CS and how saturated it is with games, and Fnatic don't necessarily play as many maps as them in terms of just number, in terms of production. 9 are definitely grinding a little bit more frequently. That doesn't mean that Fnatic don't have a couple tricks up their sleeve on the T side. They've got their own game plan, but they are being tested in a way that I don't think they've been tested online and, of course, in recent history. We'll have to see what 9 have in store for us in the final 2 rounds of the half, because it couldn't even look more dominant than this. Remember, they've cut down 3 players yet again, so the money still an issue. Fnatic should have all the weapons that they need. No, even then, Blame F and Fear electing to go for the MP9s. They're saving up some cash for what will be the final round after this one. And this is an opportunity yet again for 9 to continue pressuring. Now that there's utility money, Fnatic can stave off this banana control, but they might need to be calling in rotations as, again, with force. 9 have stormed it. Crims at least finds a little bit of a pressure release valve by clearing Faven in apartments. That's an opening for Fnatic, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that the B site won't be bowled over yet again.
Now 9 are taking it slow. They didn't find the first kill, and they need some info desperately. Not yet to control of any part of the map. Banana is free if you look at the mini-map. But so far, they're electing to put on a little bit of pressure towards A. Still, more than a minute on the clock gives them a situation where they can rotate from site to site relatively quickly. Of course, we're going to find out what that brings them.
Opportunity. Will 9 pounce upon it? Or will they be cleared? There's 3 defenders here. Madison Crim's going to be doubling up in the pit position with, of course, Madis able to drop down there as soon as he finds first contact. BlameF, oh, did they hear it? Did they know his position based on that? He blocks the smoke coincidentally, wasn't even looking at it. That's just what it's like. Life is like that when you're so big.
Now a bit of trouble. Now a bit of pressure. The defense needs to hold, and Crims finds another one. That makes it a bit more easy, but the other player has been spotted. Madi's good for one more kill, and there's BlameF to bounce with the SMG. Kragan not able to open this site. And Fnatic hitting back, but they're going to need a bit more if they want to be at least content with the half.
And now we're seeing where Fnatic is a little bit more comfortable. I know it's 1 round, so not a lot of sample size, but when 9 stall things out and they get very, very slow, it's not nearly as successful for them. They didn't have enough map control to continue pressuring things, and the actual site take was a little bit discombobulated. I'm reminded of the way that they cleared apartments versus Crims and Madis. I've brought that round up a few times now, where it was lesser weaponry. Madis, once again, on the P250 and still able to find kills. But look at this. Instead, the CTs are going to go with pace. Now, Bob has traded back. Oh, but Fear is able to take care of him. It's an all-out brawl in mid. We're playing deathmatch in the final round of the half, and BlameF, well, of course, he's burrowed into a tactical angle. Brings it down to a 2-on-2.
That's diplomatically said. BlameF far away from his teammates, just tactically baiting them, looking for the second, and finds it. It's only Montu on his feet for the side of 9, but BlameF on half HP. This might still be doable as the rotate from Jambo is going to be quite slow. Montu might have isolated duels. That nade was meaty, so he's on half HP as well. Has the molly to use, but he's going to have to find the timing to do just that, as the CTs seem to be electing to come from 2 different angles, just finding a bit of a tag on BlameF, unable to finish him off just yet. They know he's in pit. They're gonna have to hurry up though, as the bomb is ticking. Montu in trouble, but that molly is not gonna get to him, though Jambo's up is for the 5th round of Fnatic. It's gonna be a close half, a minimal lead for 9 at the half of map number 1.
Začít něco novýho se zdá vždycky těžký.
Sorať!
Ale ať ti to půjde jakkoliv, jedno je jistý. Že si to užiješ. Vítej v největší komunitě sázkařů. Tipsport.
Hej, šéfe, dostanu vás ven. Tady máte Red Bull.
Co?
Dávám křídla.
Křídla, jo? Fakt vtipný.
Enjoy the Conquest of Prague. KFC, game on.
An entertaining first half of today. A lot of Counter-Strike left to be played by the end of the Conquest of Prague. Don't forget, it is the last day. Fnatic with a minimal disadvantage on Inferno. The pistol round could give them, or rather bring them right back into this, but we've already mentioned it before, a 7-5 half can always run away from you if you're on the receiving end, and 9 on the favorable side in this second half. Let's see what the pistol round is going to bring us.
Fnatic looking for success in the pistols. Bob seemed to clutch that one out all the way back on Coffins, if you remember. The fadeaway tap with the USP and then clotheslining the final player. Didn't even feel like it was close. That's just a decoy. Kragan knows. Facing him on top of the sandbags. Fnatic are going to reconsider some options here. They don't have any more flashes, just 2 smokes and a molly, and they are going to commit and easily dispense with the 2 defenders. There's 1 left, and he's cut down as well. Rawls, as big as you are, the harder they fall, apparently. And it is going to be a nice and easy bomb plant with no casualties so far.
Well done by Fnatic. Making a bit of noise and then making a lot of steps just to make the CTs think you're gonna disengage and going back to the other site, then striking back and destroying the defenders. 9, they really got surprised by what happened there. A solid tap from Favin. Not gonna be able to make this an active round just yet. Bomb already ticked to half and already a backstab coming in. Now the CTs need to commit, but they got nowhere to go, and Jambo lurking with those dualies should be able to take at least one, looking for the second and tapping away at Favin. It's a 1-round lead now for 9.
Yeah, and very unlikely for them to be able to make much happen. Favin did score a second kill. Maybe he'll invest into a bigger gun because of those $600. But when you get shut out to that degree, your CT pistol into your CT force buy is not always a great transition, a great conversion. It's not always clean in that respect. So very well done by Jambo to clean up the crew at the back. And we will see Favin with an MP9, Montu with an MP9, but everybody else just on pistols. A very different complexion. No scout like there was for Fnatic. They're gonna see a different sort, a different style. And Fnatic are playing it slow, trying to feel out. What exactly are we up against here in round 14?
That's the question. It's going to be a risky play from 9, and it doesn't seem to be paying dividends, as you can see on the minimap. Crim's already with a forward position and apps, and this is one of those situations where you're going to wait it out, see what the CTs have to offer, whether they want to be aggressive or not. And of course, you got a player with the Mac 10, you're just going to send him on a scouting errand, and Crims is going to pick up all the intel necessary. You can already see Fnatic players rotating to A, and they're going to claim this round. At the end of the day, we might even not see a single kill in this one, as 9 are going to be quite happy with saving what they got, due to the fact that in the next round, they're not going to be opting to invest.
That's right. Anything that they get here is just a bonus. The Viking emissary has arrived, and Crims will take Kragan out after confirming that the A site was open to establishing a Viking embassy. I think that's what you call it when you absolutely devastate it, and that's essentially what's happening here. Though there is a bit of a joust for the CT spawn control, a Galil available, and they're using utility just to grab it. It's cute. Bob will take it, but Fnatic have fallen away at this point, so we are looking at a nice little tie game here in our first map.
It begs the question, why did Fnatic send a Galil towards CT? So isolated was Jambo, he just lost a rifle, so that's going to give 9 a little bit more firepower in the next one. So if you're Fnatic, you're kind of facing off rifles, or at least a solid buy in the next couple of rounds. I mean, don't forget, now, of course, 9 are not going to buy anything. Maybe a Kevlar on one of their players, the one that died, maybe a few nades, but it's not going to be a big investment. They're still going to pose a threat, and then in the next one, they're going to have a really good buy.
Yeah, they might not even have needed to purchase up anything on the fallen player, because you can just drop the sidearm from whoever grabbed that Galil. So that just adds to another layer of it, where they're going to have plenty of money saved up going into the next.
That was great. With over 1,000 payment methods, multi-currency business accounts, and payment cards for your customers, Unlimited's got you covered.
Unlimited. Borderless payments for borderless opportunities.
And so yet another scouting mission for him.
Oh, yeah. Just checking things out, quite isolated from his team, but it's not really a big loss if he loses that Mac 10, as long as he actually finds some intel. Not going to happen just yet, as he's completely missing the 9 players, so it might still be a threat for the Fnatic side. So far, are they committed to A? That's the question that begs. Or do they want to make a weird split towards B? The answer might be the latter, now that they've seen players and losing another rifle, this time courtesy of Matasphere, though, finds 2. That's a bit of money in his back pocket, but Blame F quite low, so this round could still get away from them, given that the bomb is really far away from the T's, and they're going to go through the meat grinder just to get that C4. 40 seconds on the clock. It's a 3v2.
Listen, I don't care how low Blame F is. He finds a way into the back line somehow, and Jambo's dispensed with Ronto. No worries there. And that is nice and easy. Even through the smoke, finding the last player, knowing he had to be in some ratty angle. It looks like BlameF just kept things awkward by living, and they didn't know exactly where to look. Not a lot of time spent practicing holding the second mid position in case you're getting infiltrated on. Very rare to see, you know, defensive utility and etc. for those kinds of spots. Apparently Jambo doesn't care. The smoke is not a wall. He goes right through it. That was a scrappy, messy situation, but really what matters is that Fnatic are over it.
Oh yeah.
And they do so without losing too much on the economy, so this full investment from Nine, including Montu's AWP, it's not going up against an understrength Fnatic, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the thing is, now the first half really doesn't matter. It could have been any given result at the half, so you've completely forgotten about the fact that Nine was quite solid on their T side. And maybe Fnatic want to make this a quick one. 3 players defending the A-bomb site. It might be a blender they walk into, as the execute seems to be coming in. Montu, not a chance, not this century. Let's see what Kragan can do. He's firing off shots and finding one, gets traded back. Favin finds a double, still alive and in the smoke. Rawls helps his teammate, and BlameF now alone in a clutch situation, but the bomb is not close. He's gonna have to fight these 2 CTs, burning in the molly, and they know where he is. Isolates one, unable to find the other, and Nine tie it back.
Wow, a 1-on-3 attempt from BlameF, and it looked so damn good, going straight through the fire, but cutting noise enough afterwards to leave a question. Did he just tap it on the other end? Not expecting that duel, but very quick swing from Bob. Composure kept for Nine as they grab themselves an 8th round. And really, that was an impactful one to win. I know that Nine have not kept anybody alive besides this one player. Of course, Bob does secure that AWP going into the next, but it does feel like a subdued victory then. They'll take a tactical pause, consider their options. Their money is not necessarily flush, and if they lose this next round, it could be all down the drain.
Oh yeah. This is going to be an important one, though let's not forget the fact Fnatic have lost a lot of players in the rounds they've won in the second half, so their money is not the best. I've seen one player was on very little cash, one was about on $1,000. I think 3 were looking quite good, so it's going to be a buy. But is it going to be the best one? That's the question. No, a few pieces of utility missing, Fear downgrading to the Galil. Fnatic are going to have to make this work. Otherwise, we might see Nine back in the lead, and not just that, back in the saddle on Inferno.
Yep, yeah, it's very trepidatious right now, very difficult. They're not sure that they're on balance, and well, Bob and Kragan were the proprietors, the purveyors of many an opening frag. Oh. But look at this, it's Kragan yet again. Not checked and not considered. A little bit too much noise gallivanting through mid. No opportunity there. Brackets is going to be the domain of Nine, and Favin even hears a little bit of a move around, a little bit of a dance. Nine are controlling this round.
Jambo relieves at least some of the pressure. So many defenders left yet to go. What's the plan for Fnatic? Just baiting that jump. Montu might have heard that, but is that enough intel gathered? The answer seems to be no, as Montu is holding Boiler. A bit more than 50 seconds actually left on the clock, as Fnatic are looking for the answer. But Nine giving them nothing after that early round aggression.
Yeah, they're kind of resetting their position on B as well, still playing a little bit passive. Jambo, he swings, but that only draws the ire of Montu. You really got to watch out for that. Jambo does know all the op angles, of course, and it was impressive that he absolutely devastated Montu on the op in the previous round, but that sniper was saved by Bob, and well, it has a little bit of late impact holding angles, keeping it safe. BlameF just holding now to see if he can keep his rifle safe. This will be all he brings into the next round. Maybe he can grab himself a couple of flashbangs.
Bit of an
Team
awkward...
9 getting to their namesake. Liuba, it's happening. Team 9 has 9.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
Listen, the numbers are mostly over. I do think that Fnatic will eventually take this series, and then we'll have teams with names that don't invoke a little bit of caster ire when you're trying to talk about round wins. And yeah, well, Fnatic has 9, but Team 9 have 9.
Well, first of all, we need to figure out if Fnatic are going to get to 9. Simply,
that is true.
due to their buy not looking the best. Of course, Blame F saved that gun. They decided to invest completely into this one. The op, let's see what it can do. Montu gets blown away. Tactical airstrike. Perk used by Fnatic as they get the +1 and relinquish that op. So that might still give them a little bit more room, breathing room at that, as they're gonna have opportunities to claim map control. Bobek taking that op, he's gonna just sit tight on Banana as the A site actually is gonna get protected by 3 of his teammates.
Yeah, they don't know if they're up against half buy or what, so... Ooh, Jambo just clotheslines him, immediately drops. There is another face, maybe another angle. Bob has taken out Mattis. They know the op is still in play. Nice attempt on the flick. You can see him just trying to push the weaponry further away. Now they know some of these Fnatic players do not have rifles. Oh, fear is thrown to the wolves, but oh, Bob is so low in the back of sight. Flames got him. Had to go to the pistol, ran out of bullets. And there's 2 weapons on the field there if Fnatic want them. I don't think that any of them are going to be jumping at the bit to grab the AWP in this situation.
Absolutely
Flame's
not.
going to plant the bomb.
You don't want that op, and you kind of know that the bullets are not in the mag. Crims gets tagged to 29, but re-peeks and does damage. But it's a 2-on-2. Still, 9 can think about this as the bomb really hasn't ticked off just yet. So they can close to the site. Blame F. He's going to get tested. Will Jambo help him? He doesn't need any help. And the big Dane collects 2 to get us back into a tied result.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Fnatic are back to 9 indeed. They hit back really quickly, and without Montu getting blown out of the server in that last round, I don't know if it would have gone the way of Fnatic. We have an opportunity for another tactical timeout here, I think. Yeah, indeed, the last one burned by Team 9. So Fnatic have certainly sent a message threatening double digits. And the money wasn't necessarily stellar for the CTs. They committed all 5 players and failed to bear fruit in the round.
I can see Fnatic players laughing, apart from Mattis that scratched his head. So at least you can see that, yeah, he's dialed in. At least you can see that the side of Fnatic, they're feeling good. Optimistic still about this map number 1, as 9, they might feel that creeping sensation that this map might be slipping away from them.
It's a rifle round. This one is all to do. If Fnatic get dropped here, they'll have to, once again, use a scuffed buy. Even if they put the C4 down. 9 could get dropped in a similar way. Be facing something of a reset. Their loss bonus will not be too high. Good meaty damage towards Banana, but Bob, in an uncomfortable position, gonna use yet another piece of utility to smoke this off and fade away. Mattis hits the deck. He was a stalwart in the previous series that Fnatic have played, so for him to have a bit of a strugglesome Inferno, only ahead of Crims so far in the kill matrix. Feels like maybe Fnatic are playing on a bit of hard mode here on LAN, but Team 9 aren't ready to give up the ghost just yet, despite the damage exchanged. It's only a 1-man advantage, and Fnatic are going to recommit towards B.
Blame 6 HP. You mentioned that utility damage was really strong at the beginning for the side of 9 as Fnatic wanted to pressure towards Banana. Now they want to strike towards B. Jambo does some damage as he brings Bob to near death. 20 HP left on the 9 player, but Rawls on the boost could still pose a threat. 30 seconds on the clock. Fnatic need to pick up pace, and Rawls gonna get checked. He's gonna get challenged, and Jambo takes 2 to claim the site for his team. Will 9 commit to this round? That's the question. The answer seems to be no, as Kragan is the nearest point of contact, not even interested to spam through that smoke. So that's going to be double digits for Fnatic on Inferno.
I don't think Favin and Montu would have chosen to commit to this particular round, even if they had full buys, rifles, and a whole utility belt. But maybe the whole rest of the round would have looked a bit different. They might have poked out instead of being more timid in apartments, knowing that they had the heads-up duels, and that might have changed the picture. That's just yet another leg of this economic tale where Fnatic have been able to do so much damage to the CT economy, even in rounds where they don't win, that they can afford to make more risky plays and get away with it. Double digits achieved on their opponent's map pick. Now they only need 3. We'll see if they can make it happen before regulation is tested, or if 9 are going to be able to rally. So beautiful for the first map of the day to be so neck and neck. But Fnatic have an opportunity to run away with this. The money really not good for 9. You can see 2 of their players on the default pistol, just having utility on their belts. That's the only way that they can help, besides throwing their bodies at the problem. A1S, 2 MP9s. Oh, this stings.
Of course, just using what they've saved, hoping that in the next round they're gonna pose maybe a bigger threat. Of course, we've seen plenty of rounds where a team with 1 rifle managed to win, so still, 9 is in this, though Fnatic quite interested to go towards B, and Raw's defending it only with the USP, so really not high hopes if they decide to go towards that site.
Well, he's got another smoke on him. Maybe he can keep delaying it. Crims, he'll find Montu. The swing, the timing, it was so bad for 9, and they've lost a player seemingly for free. Rawls gets cut down on the site, and Blame's holding for the re-aggression. He might get spammed through the wood. Instead, he somehow falls away again on 2 points of health. That's the magic number for Blame. Been in that situation at least 3 times now. And it's just Faven and Kragan. They have to save, man. This is so heartbreaking for Team 9.
Yeah, they seem to be really in control of things throughout the first half, the majority of the first half. Heading into the second half, you expect them to do something, and they actually had a good chance of doing so. They had a chance to first hit double digits and maybe still have a bit of a driver's seat position on Inferno. Fnatic, they say no. They had a sloppy buy and it worked out. Afterwards, it's 9 on the back foot.
Do we have time for an impromptu survey? Anybody in the crowd hoping for a 9 win right now?
Oh, and the crowd goes mild.
That's what I thought. What about Fnatic? We hoping for Fnatic? About the same.
Alrighty. Hopefully...
They're hoping for the end of Inferno. I think that's what they're hoping.
The crowd will be a bit louder when we get into our second best of 3. Of course, when we get to the final, I'm expecting some noise.
Of course, yeah. The serious business.
Oh, yeah.
Well, another set of rifles invested, and Kragan has an opportunity. Flashed into mid, he'll cut Jambo down. That's working. Nice little opening pick here, but Crips has an opportunity to strike back, and look at that, he does. Faven, damage dealt. Oh, he's even gonna double up, and that's bomb loose in apartments.
And it's a 4v2. Fnatic in trouble. They're desperately searching for the next kill, and the bomb quite far away from them. It's 9 that seems to be taking back control of things. Fear just seen a player in pit, jump spotting. He's been spotted as well. Ball back, catches Blame F a bit off guard, and now only Fear on his feet. He knows where 1 is and at least do some damage, but there's Faven on the pounce as 9 hit 10.
We have been able to count to 10 for both of these 2 teams, so that's working out pretty well for Team 9. They're able to stop the bleeding. Another tactical timeout, this time the last of Fnatic's. There will be no further tactical pauses on Inferno. This is an opportunity for Fnatic to continue putting distance between them and their opponents. 2 rounds required for them to steal their opponent's map pick, but it looks like 9 still have some fight in them. And Independent having some strong words and stronger claps. Trying to get some energy in here.
Well, it's a close-fought affair so far, as Inferno has been entertaining. Only 1 round separating these 2 teams, and this one could be crucial. Both teams, of course, having a little bit of cash to splash in the next one, but everybody open to be the first to get to that magic number 12. Of course, this round will also show us whether or not we will see at least 24 rounds.
Yeah.
9 managed to tie us up. There's going to be a few more twists and turns on Inferno.
Monto had to write an email real quick. We're here in the chat messages, and it looks like we'll have a round reset. Somebody has some trouble they need a little bit of help with. Was it you, Montu? He was the one typing.
Could be.
Well, tech support comes in hot on the arena.
There should be a quick one.
Oh, he had the Jane move. NVIDIA.
Oh, seriously?
NVIDIA moment. When you're moving as a ghost and you can kind of operate, but you can't see anything, you know, your visual crashes. Round will be restarted as the only bit of damage was taken after the tech was called. It was a single HE. Scraped Montu's back for 2 points.
Always a bit of a challenge for the admins to see when the message was sent and when damage was dealt.
Get the timestamps, get the receipts,
yeah.
But we're going back live nice and easy. It was just a reconnect, no problems. That's one little downgrade for Counter-Strike 2 is that it does take a little bit longer to launch, but these PCs are beefy. They handle it no problem. And what we did see in the very opening moments of that last round was this propensity to put Montu in the B site to begin with. He does have that AWP. He will post up there yet again. It hasn't always been in Banana. Sometimes it's been more towards A, but I think Fnatic have pieced it together. They are avoiding any instant faces as these utility pieces start to fall away. A much more passive hold on B, but A is anything but. They've got 2 players in that spot immediately right of brackets or immediately right of boiler. The molly won't clear it unless it's meant for the roof. They're all boosted up there. Look at that.
Man, Fnatic quite silent. Only a few nades tossed so far. Just put on a little bit of pressure on defenders. You don't want a CT pushing you when you're trying to go to the other site. Yet undecided as to where they want to go in this one. 55 seconds have just ticked off the clock as Crims smokes long just to keep the CTs at bay. Still, Mattis saw 2 and actually got away alive, but only just as he's only on 13 HP. And now when they've seen the double boost, they can possibly opt to go towards B.
I think that's what they're doing, but they're leaving Mattis and a couple of other riflers in the area. So it's just going to be a fake. A is the real target. They're hoping to pull lots of rotations, and Favin's already come away from it. But a 3 versus 2, especially with these angles known, still a possibility for 9 to stuff things. 20 seconds left, not even, and they need to go now. Fnatic using Crims as the tip of the spear, immediately gut the A bomb site, and Favin has no chance to stop the bomb plant from going down. This is a 5 versus 3, and Fnatic look destined for 12.
Yep, Fnatic are going to be on 2 map points. 9 are not in a position where they can try this. They can, of course, try and take a few rifles away. Favin, not a chance. Fear was checking his angles quite slowly, and in that state of affairs, your shoulder will be seen sooner, of course, than you'd hope.
It's been well played from Fear. He has been the 2nd highest fragging player on his team, leading by example. When Crims has that level of impact on the entry as well, I think you can forgive a negative scoreline. Mattis given a little bit of time to warm into the series as well, and Fnatic, I feel like they've gotten themselves exactly what they need. You see the crowd on your screen, they're enjoying this. I mean, it looks very, very avant-garde, having a Counter-Strike event and then some, you know, picnic-esque tables to enjoy your beer and hot dogs.
Honestly,
right? Beer and sausage.
It's a dream to watch Counter-Strike from that position. Have a few beers, have a few snacks, and enjoy some good CS. And see what Inferno can show us. Montu needs to go for an aggressive pick. His barrel has been seen and flashed off position. He's gonna have to pull back. Fnatic able to buy a little bit of space in this round, though Kraken quite interested in being aggressive. He might catch somebody off guard, and that's gonna happen. As Mattis hits the deck, hits 9 on +1. A bit of damage dealt to Jambo. Bobek, behind the smoke, no chance to check him. He's gonna look for the double, and he's gonna find it, going to the op, looking for the next, but Flame finally finding an answer. It's a 4v2, but Montu has repositioned with that sniper, and he's ready for the Dane, as Crims is the only one left alive.
Would have to be a 1-on-4. Rotations are slow, but they are on the way, so eventually he will be playing from a flanked position. A little bit of utility on the floor he picked up, but only really good for a smoke and a molly, so very slim margins here for him to do anything in the round. might still be able to make it somewhat expensive. He takes a few of these guns away. The next round might be a bit harder, but we are going to be going for every single round. Montu, a steady hand on the sniper. All of regulation required, maybe more than that. It comes down to this final round.
Well, 9 did beat 500 just yesterday on Inferno after overtime. We'll see if they can do it again. And again, that was from a deficit they were in.
You know, I think about Counter-Strike podcast names. You know what I mean? And there is one called Overtime on Inferno.
I mean,
just to let you guys know how specific it has to be. So we might be running one of those episodes after this, we'll see. But Fnatic want to avoid that. They want to wake the crowd up a little bit with a different map. Saves can be grading. Now, at this point, again, only 2 on B for 9, and no real opportunity to go for an info play. This is despite Fnatic being much more restrained with their apps control, their mid control. They're actually expecting 9 to be aggressive, try to force the issue, push the issue in the final round of regulation. But that is anything but what is happening right now. Instead, it's very passive, it's very measured. 9 are holding on to a lot of their utility. The flash onto Crims, he does well to not pull his trigger. He's not going to expose himself. Rawls, Rawls thought it was safe. Ice in his veins, the Viking claims another, and Rawls will be felled. Montu on the line here at B. Should be good for at least 1, but needs to be able to get away from the tumult of T's that is about to run forward.
It's going to be a push towards B. Fnatic trying to get to the side. Montu is going to be the defender of it. Flick connects, but doesn't kill. He's burning the flames. 1 HP was enough to claim 1 kill, but Mattis doubles up, and that's the control of B for Fnatic. A 2-man advantage now, and Kragan hits the deck. Faven with an all-to-do and mission impossible as Fnatic seem to be taking the opposing team's map pick in this elimination match. Faven, that's a desperate play. Blame will be the one that claims him, and Fnatic in the lower bracket finals, leading by 1 map.
I can't believe it. They've done it indeed, in style as well, and 9 took them all the way to the end of regulation. It was a stellar performance from them, but not nearly enough to overcome the likes of Crims. And Mattis getting 2 kills on the site take. Little bit of...
6 do 6 Shopee. Aproveite 10 milhões de reais em cupons e frete grátis. Confira condições. Assista e compre de tudo direto na Shopee Video com cupom de 50% off. Isso mesmo, 50% off. 6 do 6. Olha na Shopee.
But Blame F, they did so well at the mid rounds there. And of course, just a fantastic way to feel out that final round. Composure, veterancy, that seems to have been the name of the game here on LAN.
Absolutely, and Fnatic, of course, leading by 1 map in this elimination match. Of course, we'll go on a short commercial break, then we'll toss it over to our analyst desk.
Hraj svoji hru. S neomezenými tarify pro mladé je to v tobě od Vodafonu. Teď s Apple AirTagem za 1 korunu.
Začít něco novýho se zdá vždycky těžký.
Co rád?
Ale ať ti to půjde jakkoliv, jedno je jistý. Že si to užiješ. Vítej v největší komunitě sázkařů. Tipsport.
For the first time ever, your game gets 100+ audio presets. Pick a pro-tuned audio profile for each game and vibe to the soundtrack of you.
"24 rounds in the first map. That's what we like to see, gentlemen.
Could have been more, but we couldn't take it all the way. So unfortunately, quote unquote, only 24.
No, it was honestly up till the very end. Even the last round could have gone both ways. So very thrilling start of this series from both teams. Honestly, I mean, we were discussing that 9 at the beginning. I mean, the Inferno, I mean, the odds were maybe overshot, and I think they proved it. I mean, it could have definitely gone their way.
Definitely, especially after the first round where BobXD got 3 kills, assisted by Kragan with 2. But sadly, after that, BobXD got totally silenced. He was quiet till most of the first half. I think he had like 6 kills after the first half, and we praised him for his ability to multi-kill, but he didn't prove it on this CT side, in big contrast with yesterday's performance, where he was one of the structural parts of success against 500. But today, it was unlucky for him. He got into his shoes on the T side, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it just wasn't enough. And honestly, we have to talk about other members, of course, of the 9. Before we get to something we have prepared, I want to say that Kragan especially was extremely good on CT side and on T side as well, when he was able to push through B side, B banana, multiple times, blowing through Mattis and Blamef, and shutting down some aggression that they actually were trying to do, take control of the deep banana. They weren't able to. And for the most of the first half, Fnatic just didn't have any control of banana whatsoever.
It felt like he was filling the role of yesterday's Bobek, and now today it was Kragan who carried himself and the whole team on Inferno. Sadly, the result is 11-13 in favor of Fnatic.
I think definitely Bobek, I mean Kragan and Faven, those were the two main players that led 9 to winning the first half. But we will look at 2 different players and compare one player from 9, one player from Fnatic, and to be exact, they're IGLs, they're in-game leaders, because that may have been the biggest difference we saw on the server.
Yeah, as you say, but we have to say that Rals and Fear are playing in different IGL types, so Rals is more the supportive one. Of course, Fear is able to provide some support as well, but he had a phenomenal first half. He was taking care of the B defense because Blamef was kind of behind him. Fear did a really great job, not only during Pistols, which Fnatic, of course, sadly lost, but especially during the forest rounds and the buy rounds. We can see one of his highlights. He was, of course, roaming around the map as well, and overall he did a great job. And then they were, of course, his teammates, quote-unquote late bloomers, Blamef and Jumbo, who were continuing in this tradition during the second half, because especially Blamef was kind of struggling during his CT side, but on the T side he was able to provide us some great impactful kills, and Jumbo, of course, as well. Same position and multi-kills from him, and great performance on Inferno.
Yeah, but when we look at the stats of Team Fnatic, I mean, that's just incredibly even. Like, everyone pulled his weight.
And even Crims, who looked to be behind, he got towards the team stack.
What's most important about Crims is that he has 12 kills, but 6 of them were opens. And he had a lot of impact. There were multiple times he actually had 2+ kills. And it was in the 22nd round, it was extremely important for both sides that he actually was really clever with jiggle peeking, and he managed to get the 2 kills to A side. And then further on, of course, Fnatic won the round and laid basis to actually winning the map.
Yes, also it felt like Mattis got into game maybe a little later than we expected. Of course, I mean, at the beginning we saw some glimpses of the firepower with maybe a pistol in the first eco, but later he kicked in and he made some like serious, not clutches, but like when Fnatic were down a man or two, he came in, did multi-kill, evened out the
And
odds.
he did a great job during the 22nd round as well, because it was Matis who spot two players playing on the short roof, and after that Fnatic slowed down a little bit, they pressed their position, then they faked execute on B, they threw some smokes in there, so maybe to fake a rotation, which was successful, and then Crims came with the two beautiful opens, and well, that was the key part, because after that we saw great open from Kraken, took it from Bobek to make it 10-12 in favor of Fnatic, but sadly for 9, B-Pop was last round which we saw there.
And the solid foundation for, of course, Fnatic was that they actually managed to win more than 3 rounds on CT side of either map from yesterday to today. It was 5, and especially on Inferno, you just want at least those 5 rounds to win. Of course, Pistol then, and so far, I mean, we could have seen the magical word firepower here.
Oh, yes.
Because Matis wasn't really fragging as well as he can, but there was blame, there was fear, there was the rest of the team, and this is a huge advantage when you can fall back on something like that. Not many teams can say it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we saw the stats, and there is no one player that is just like a weak spot for Fnatic. It's not like sometimes in here in the Czech scene we see, okay, we just need to find out on which side this player plays and then just push there, right?
Yeah.
This is Fnatic is not that team. I mean, there is no way. It doesn't matter if you come into BlameF, Jumbo, Matis, Fear, or Crims. I mean, it's always challenging to play 1v1 against these players.
And I think this is in stark contrast between Fear and Rouse in this regard. You said properly that he's a different type of IGL, it's not there for frags, but on CT side especially, you just have to take up the mantle and actually frag something. Given your side, it doesn't matter, but you have to actually take some kills.
Yes, Fnatic proved themselves on the server. Let's see if they can do so with, well, knowledge about Czech Republic and its monuments and celebrities.
Hello guys, I'm Fear from Fnatic, and this is my friend and sniper Jumbo, and today we will guess what is Prague and what is not. Okay, so C and B is Czech Republic, A is not, maybe D even Czech Republic, not sure, but
I think C and D.
C and D?
Yes.
I think C and B.
B for sure, Tampi, Dynamo is what?
Oscar also Czech.
I mean,
B and D.
It's Oscar?
Yes, it's Oscar.
Okay, so B and D.
Yes. Guardian is Slovakian.
Yes.
And first picture is...
Okay, B and D for sure.
B and D, yeah, me too. Oh, interesting, good question.
What?
We have anime for sure.
I don't know, not B for sure.
B?
I would say C and A.
C and A?
Yes.
I'll say D and C.
Okay. I don't know anyone actually.
I will say A. I realized that in Czech, many people forcing Puma.
Puma?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I trust you. Okay.
I will say A, yeah, and then I don't know. Really hard for me.
Okay, A and D.
A and D.
Yeah, just round.
Let's go. Okay.
Okay.
We have pro players, and one of them is our team. It's Neofrag. He's Czech.
He's Czech.
He's Czech.
Yes.
Matoš is not.
Matoš.
But he lives in Czech.
It doesn't count.
Chris is. I was thinking 2 days ago that it's.
Chris is Czech.
No,
No.
Chris is Sweden. I was thinking it's brother of Freddy, but.
Ah, no, Chris is Sweden. I mean this guy.
Stiko.
Yes.
Slovakian.
Slovakian.
C.
Okay, only C.
C. I have.
No, come here.
I have one. I have one. D for sure.
D.
Petr Čech. Petr Čechsky.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Legendary
D.
goalkeeper. I also watch the documental video why he is playing with helmet. And we can check sponsors or something.
Yes.
Repeat. Joffo. Hard for me. But D.
Okay.
Sure.
D.
D. Let's go with D.
I know every game, but I don't know where is A.
I hear about Mafia. I'm not sure Mafia is Czech. With views, what I see here, I think is this game. Many castles.
Okay, yes.
All the stuff. I think it makes sense, right?
Maybe it's
I will say B. And yeah.
Okay.
I guess guys just play Counter-Strike, or I don't know. I mean, I know all of those games. It's Kingdom Come on. Mafia, that's the legendary
You need
game.
to broaden your horizon, man.
Yeah. But let's talk about this duo, because, I mean, Jumbo coming into Fnatic, that was very discussed. I mean, everything is discussed on HLTV, of course, everyone's a genius there, but it was heavily discussed in the comment sections that it is a bit of a coin flip transfer.
Well, let's say typical for Fnatic. They had a problem on AVP role for a long time, and maybe Jumbo will be finally the one to fulfill the requirements which Sniper for Fnatic has to meet. Well, the ex-Passion UA duo played really well on Inferno. Fear on the CT side. Jumbo were able to find his form on the T side, and on Ancient it will be, for me personally, different making duo once again, because Fear has to play strong around the B side, and Jumbo, of course, needs to frag with his op on CT side. So at least for CTs, these two players will be, I think, once again the difference maker. Not even if they will have a good game, but they can't have a bad one.
They can't have a bad one. How about 9? What should change there? I mean, someone has to step up.
Yeah, definitely Ralphs. I'm just gonna say it, put it out loud, because that's definitely true for this.
I mean, is that his role to put the frags on?
Not necessarily, but put out a bit more frags, definitely yes. But when it comes to the whole team, I think Kragan really stepped up this previous map. He was really seen. Favan, bit of a muted performance compared to some of those we could actually see in the previous days. But I mean, it was 13-11. It was really close, and it was only miniature details that were actually leading to Fnatic winning the game. Split moment decisions, late round decisions, and of course some fragging capacity. But it could have gone either way. So I'm not sure if 9 actually have to change a lot. They just have to concentrate, throw this over their heads, take it step by step, as we like to say, but it's true. And hopefully Ralphs will show up as well. And that may be the final detail that actually will propel them to win the map.
Yeah, maybe just 2-3 more kills and we could be there, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to map number 2. Pronogo and Liuba, of course, are ready to take us there. Guys, it's yours.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the slight technical issue by my side. I humbly apologize. Of course, we're ready for our second map. It's going to be quite interesting to see if 9 can bounce back, simply due to the fact that Fnatic kind of clinched the first map, right, Pronogo?
Yeah, listen, it was really easy for Fnatic last time on Ancient. 13-5. I mean, they barely broke a sweat. This is after a comeback victory on Dust 2, which is not in today's Veto for 9. So, looking at the fact that it was 13-2 on Train and then 13-5 on Ancient, Fnatic dominated them in the map wins and really only barely lost Dust 2 because of some miraculous clutches. We didn't really see the clutch factor favor 9 on Inferno. And this is an opportunity for Fnatic to really stretch ahead in the series and show that they can not only coast to a victory on Ancient once again, but that they can conserve energy for their forthcoming match against ENCE if they're able to put 9 to bed here and now.
Absolutely. Of course, Fnatic on kind of the right foot heading into the second map. They stole away the opposing team's map pick. And now 9 might be in trouble. This pistol round might tell us what future holds for the second map. On ramp. This might be interesting, as it seems to be all a ruse. 9 have allocated all of their players towards this side, and Fnatic just disengaging now. They can easily get to the side, but BlameF collects 2, and that's catastrophe for 9. Not getting frags and losing the other site. It seems quite confident from Fnatic as they're destroying them with these pistols.
Yeah, Manto lost alive. Really unfortunate timing there for a lot of the Team 9 players. BlameF really fragging well, and Mattis getting up to his old tricks on Ancient. Should be good for the second, as Jambo takes away what would have been his third frag. Easy as you like on Mantu. And we have ourselves a Fnatic pistol. They are now up in pistols. Of course, as the half switches, 9 will have an opportunity to equalize. But worth pointing out, the T side is where Fnatic just got onto a tear. It was 7-5 after the first half of the last time these two teams met. And Fnatic were on the CT side to start. So they've deliberately switched up their pick here, or rather Team 9 have, being that this is Fnatic's map pick. 9 have decided to start on the CT side, so to see if they can weather the storm. But it hasn't worked out on the pistol. And now with the CT force buy, well, they've got a couple of players burrowed in A. Let's see what they can do here. Bob, not good for more than one. No, not even good for one. Blamef, again, back-to-back rounds and double openers each time.
Oh, yeah. Doing quite well as Blamef, as like we talk about him, the meme is there with Bait F and stuff like that, but it is true to at some extent that he is often in the back lines hoping to find something, but often enough when he's the one leading the charge, it kind of pays dividends to his teams.
It does, yeah. And when Blamef is able to take even CT aggression under his domain, he's one of the most successful players on Fnatic for CT aggro. So even when the half switches, 9 are not free from the menace. From Denmark, Faven scraping together the MP9, the Galil onto Rawls. Of course, courtesy of Crims, as he was tasked with figuring out where the other CT members were. Fear doing very well to hold mid, consider his options, and call that we need to know where the stack is, because you find 2 that easily in the CT force buy. You don't know if that's the only set of defense on the A site. Now going on the hunt. I love this from Fnatic. They want to see if they can steal away that Galil. Oh, and you know, his itchy trigger finger. Rawls pulls it a little bit too fast. Nice and steady. Jambo accelerates at that point, and it's only Faven with an MP9 into the next. This is not going to go very well. He's actually looking for anything that he can see at the end, but he'll stay alive. It's just not really what you want to see, especially looking at everybody else here on the side of 9. They are not going to want to invest into this round.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're probably going to try and do something just off the back of that SMG. Blamef heading into this map quite well, finding the first double in the pistol round, then finding another double, of course, in this second, as Fnatic are looking to convert that pistol round victory. It seems a given now, a freebie. Let's see if there's maybe a little bit of magic that could come off of the 9 players, with Faven leading the charge with that SMG. Actually might catch somebody off guard. Mantu fires quite well to begin with, and now it's Faven's time to do something, but Menace takes 3 and cleans things up. Now Fnatic are looking for an easy round 3.
Yeah, I would love to leave Mattis here as well. Obviously, there's the risk that he gets overwhelmed by a force buy, but he's playing so nicely. 5 frags to his name in just 3 rounds, and he wants to guard the weaponry to make sure that Kragan gets nothing. Fear actually decides to play ahead of him, and they end up clearing that, having dropped the bomb previously. So it's all down to Rawls with the USP to see if he can do any damage or collect a weapon, but it both seem almost impossible at this point, and he should be sailing on through. A 3-round start for Fnatic, mirroring how 9 began Inferno. We'll see if it ends the same way, or if Fnatic are just going to continue plying their trade. This is a map that they are very confident on.
Oh yeah. Statistically speaking, they look good on it. And currently, they start off quite well. As, I mean, 9, they're no slouches either, but Chris, you never know what they're going to show us. And these 2 teams have battled each other 4 times in the month, or rather 3 times in the month of May. All right, let's see what's going to happen as Bob has been felled. His teammates looking for that second frag in the round, maybe trying to equalize the manpower situation. There's Kragan, and now he can pull back, or rather try and fight, but that's not going to do anything. Faven trying to do the same, but Blamef ready for both of them. As Mantu is the last alive now for 9. Fnatic knocking on the door of 4. As really Mantu can only hope to find a frag and try and save that up.
Look at that B side, that A site take, man. The fact that the bomb still is able to go down, Faven running out. I'm gonna look into hiring Blame as my private security after this match, dude. That had real precision written all over it. Mantu, as you mentioned, just trying to save the big green. and pretty difficult task as he's so close to the bomb, but he should be fine in CT spawn with such health that he has. Tucked away as deep as he can. Marauding our Fnatic. It is so difficult for Team 9 to get into anything here. They'll take a CT tactical timeout. Independent ready to just fist bump and leave it, but he immediately pulls his mic down and begins to talk, taking full advantage of the opponent's tactical.
Well, yeah, you got to do that. I mean, this is one of those situations when you're on the T side, when you're the one attacking, maybe try to do something with pace. Make a way to destroy any sort of tactic the opposing team might have.
Yes.
That's sort of textbook tactic when the CT side calls for attack timeout. You don't really want to give them a chance.
Hasn't been much of a chance for Team 9. A lot of action in favor of Fnatic so far. The Riflers definitely showing up. Early grenades going to soften Kragan up just a bit, but they are attempting something with pace. It's mid-control. 9 have no response. They're not attempting to parry it or hold them. Limited utility. They've got one smoke on Kragan, one on Faven. So they are hoping to just hold them at bay with weapons from lesser weaponry, no less.
Montu opens things up. That's big for 9. They can stretch their legs a little bit in this round as now Fnatic are under duress, under slight pressure, yet not knowing what equipment the 9 players have. They know it's not perfect, but it can still be a threat. Ooh, though, Blame F, that's a good lurk. And that might split the defense.
Oh, no.
The Rouse fires back, gets traded back right away. It's a 3-on-3, and Bobek was not ready. He was not careful enough, but the bomb is in no man's land, and Montu can just guard it. Still, Fnatic are fighting an uphill battle, but an up shot missed is going to give them a little bit more breathing room.
Well, they also recover a little bit of utility there as well, so options now. Faven can use that flashbang, get himself out of the smoke if he wants it, but Blame is just gonna wait the clock down, and he's got his number. So much damage dealt through the wall. 25 seconds. Jambo, what has he got? With only 8 points of health, it feels risky for him to peek in, but maybe he can be the first one thrown towards Montu. 15 seconds. Fnatic have to make this happen, and indeed, leading with the charge with the low HP player. Faven and Mattis win their duels, and it's a 5th for Fnatic. Oh, that one was a little bit closer, but closeness just makes the heart break faster. And 9 are down in a big deficit.
Yeah, a good start for Fnatic on our second map. This is an elimination match, of course. Both matches today are quite important. The first one leading somebody to the final, the second one deciding the conquerors of the great city of Prague. 9 back on a bye. They're going to need to fire back now. Otherwise, we could see Fnatic strolling on this T side. And of course, ENCE is one of those maps which is quite well balanced, but still, you got to get some rounds on the CT side if you want to hope to do something in the second half, no matter how good your T side looks.
Absolutely, yeah. This isn't, you know, inverted train. This isn't old Vertigo or even Anubis currently, where the T side can afford to make up for a deficit incurred by the CT side. Not when it's looking so clean. Again, the last round is really the first time 9 had much to say about what Fnatic are doing. Artillery strike, deep red room. Kragan forced off at about half health. Calling in for a little bit of backup here as Blame is starting to take control, but he's just gonna stay passive for now. Instead, they'll be facing Rawls in cave. He throws that smoke. I would like Fnatic to try to play ahead of that, but instead, with 50 seconds left on the clock, they're going to elect to wait it out. And yeah, Blame is going to get activated now. Jambo finding a wallbang timing, and look at that. Faven now very much under duress, half HP. He's going to swing at a different elevation, just enough to get Blame off the angle, but that's just going to force more utility out. The HE, just to try to distract it, must have, because Faven wins the duel. Now Rawls getting run down by 3 players. The spray down has to come in big, but it's not enough. Jambo is able to scrape it together. Can he get out? Faven, I don't think he saw that.
15 seconds. They need to plant the bomb, but not a lot of HP on the Fnatic players as Faven finds one. The bomb is going to get planted, but only just as Montu hits Fear, and it's all down to Jambo. No chance. 9 get their first on the board.
A lot of that came down to Blame dropping that duel in mid. If he doesn't end up letting Faven get away with that, in a situation where absolutely Blame was favored, make no bones about it, sometimes you have to spray, sometimes it happens. Hasn't happened until now to the Fnatic Riflers, so a rare sign that 9 are able to stabilize off of that potentially. They got a long road to climb just to tie things up in this first half, but it's not impossible. And they're showing us maybe a blueprint of how to do it, keeping 3 alive. Obviously putting down lots of damage with utility, with spams. Mattis was on basically death's door as the round began, so good initial pressure. And once again, down to half HP is the hometown favorite.
Oof, Montu well placed. Kragan helped him out with that dink. Blame F, the first casualty of this round, and Mattis also on half HP. Not going to be the easiest round for Fnatic from how it has begun, though they did take control of mid. That's something. And Crim's tucked already in Ret Room. It's going to be an important duel against possibly 2 players. Jambo helps his teammate out. Now this might be an active round as Fnatic are piling the pressure on towards B. And Fair already getting in front of ramp. Smoked off, but there's Faven. Finds one. Matt is good on the trade. It's a 3-on-3, but Raw's already on the rotate. He's going to get taken out, and Crim's on the lurk. Puts the nail in the coffin of this round, and Fnatic not letting 9 chain together too.
Yeah, you think you got rid of all that pressure from lurks, from cheeky little flanks and angles, and instead, just because Blame F went down, Crims picks up the mantle. He's absolutely a solid lurker in his own right. He knows exactly where to position himself to catch cheeky CT rotates, and Montu back to saving the AWP. Second time he'll attempt to do so. As the bomb goes boom, we are going to be looking at 6-1. A very commanding first half already from Fnatic, and so much more opportunity for them to build on this advantage. Oh, Montu, you must keep that gun alive. There's the crowd. Happy to see Fnatic back in the driver's seat in a big way here.
Yeah, and those KFC product placements, they're looking a little bit too orange for 9's liking, as Fnatic, their color is orange, and they're hoping that this tournament will be in the same sense theirs to take. Of course, 2 best-of-3s needed for them to be the conquerors of Prague. They lost yesterday to ENCE, so they want a rematch as soon as possible against that team. Now, piling the pressure is the side of 9. Kragan draws first blood. Crim's good on the trade, but traded right back he will be. And Fnatic, what is the play? You want to pile the pressure onto the other side? The answer seems to be a resounding yes, as 9 have struck back. Now Fnatic need to take the site, guarded only by Bob XD's pistol before the rotate comes in. Fnatic want to find a way and plant the bomb. There's the 5-7 as he takes down Mattis. A bit too late as Montu already felled. Still a man advantage for 9.
That feels like the bigger frag to take here, getting rid of the AWP. Especially when you don't have that much utility to block off the site. That ends up being massive. Now Blame is going to be looking towards A. They planted for this, so A main is where a lot of these Ts are going to be. They might decide to boost up. Indeed, they will. Fear will take the first point of contact by this tree and hold for any exit towards Brokey. The 5-7 does well, but Fear does better. And that's a 3K for the in-game leader, 7-1. Fnatic establishing dominance on Ancient. They have won the half, and their opponents have only won a single round.
And just the tap to end the round. Fear's feeling good, and so is Fnatic, as their in-game leader shows off his individual prowess. This T side is doing great, and 9 have tried everything. Passive, aggressive, a mix of both. Nothing has made it work so far for this CT side, and 9 just looking for a lifeline now.
Delicious, delicious. And Mattis is playing this with, there he is, trying to egg the crowd on. Mattis has been very, almost reserved, right? He's so focused. Every time you see his player cam, when he's entering onto a site, he's calling little bits of information here, but he's got his game face on in a big way. It's nice to see him dialed in, but also nice to see some emotions and some showmanship from the in-game leader of Fnatic. It's going to be 5 rifles yet again. Yeah, they have elected to keep off the AWP for Jambo. They know his rifling on this map can be so good. A little bit of an audition for when they save those AKs over. And well, Monster just caught sleeping perhaps this whole map, but especially in that moment, can his teammates bail him out? Looks like dancing back and forth. They keep Crims interested until they finally tie him up. And now Fear blocked off from success with a smoke. Is he gonna try to look for a cheeky angle? Looks like the answer is yes. As the smoke billows and blooms, he catches sight of some movement. Was it just an illusion, or was it that gun moving up against the wall? Either way,
Two backstabs.
Kragan, oh no!
Not gonna happen for Bob, not gonna happen for Blame F, and now Fear alone in a 1v2 with 26 points of health. A bit sloppy for Fnatic as they tried to pick up pace, but 2 players were a bit late. And now again, Fear needs to be the hero. 50-ish seconds left on the clock, so he can rotate across the entire map should he wish to do so. And that's gonna leave the 9 players thinking. They're gonna have to take control of some entry point of this site. Fear looking for a backstab and isolated duels. Rawls has no armor. Aim punch is gonna play a contributing factor. Kragan timing, will it be on his side? The answer is no. And Fear looking for the clutch, not gonna happen. As Rawls saves them to get the second round for 9. Fnatic stopped in their tracks in this round. Let's see if 9 rather can chain together a few rounds and make this actually an interesting affair, as they're really in a position where their backs are against the wall and not a lot of room to maneuver.
Yeah, it would have been a 1v3 from Fear. He only finds the first 2. Close but no cigar. Lots of economic damage. And now Kragan, he's going to bring the pace. Only with 1. Mattis trades. There's still room here. Ross can find some more damage. And there's a lot of potential for firefights throughout the map. Favin will take out Mattis. Gets them the better of him through that smoke, through the wall. Jambo walled off from being able to help his teammates. They're going to rotate through the swamp and see what they can do to exit out of these double doors, but this can be such a murderous position.
And the thing is, if you're 9, you have no reason to budge. You have all the map control necessary for the CT side. You know what's going on mid. You have control of the entrance towards B, and you kind of know what's going on towards A. Got a good crossfire as well, and Favin uses it to his advantage. Take out the opposition offer. Not the best smoke. And that is gonna cost them a little bit of timings, a little bit of space as Crims opens up the site. He wants to plant the bomb as soon as possible, but he's not gonna have to be the main man. His Blame F is gonna have to lead the charge. Crims might be in an awkward position, and should be a little bit easier for 9 to take him out. Now they know his position and just tagged him a little bit. Crims out of the picture. Let's see what Blame can do. 1v3. He has utility to work with. Let's see if the CTs can swarm him. Finds the first. He's looking for isolated duels. Looking for more. They just tapped that bomb, and Blame F, he's not gonna move. He knows what's going on. He knows that was all a fake. And now looking for more, looking for the firefight. Again, just tapping and now holding. That might be enough as 9 are defusing the bomb. Blame F not gonna get it. 9 claimed the third.
Yeah, nice to see that from the perspective of Blame, the decision making. At the end of the day, when the smoke goes down, the odds of the T's being able to spray him so slim. Did not have the spray down. But that's another round where, yeah, sure, 9 win, but they keep 1 man alive? That's it. Their economy is not developing. Fnatic will take a tactical timeout, and they'll consider their own options. They've had a bomb plant. They've had plenty of rounds of success up until this point. The fact that they're investing resources into a tactical timeout here might be a sigh of relief from Team 9 so that they can, again, try to keep control of this Cobra that threatens to bite them, poison them. A not so slow demise it has been, but Fnatic are held at 7 for now.
Still a lot. Oh, that was so close. We didn't have the X-ray during the round, so you didn't really know how close the bullets were, but 1 could have been enough for Fnatic to take their 8th round. 9 with a lifeline. But they need these 2 last rounds of the half, and Jambo The missed up shot is not going to help his team.
No, that was a gimme. Favin was not doing anything fancy there when he exited stage left, and Jambo missing the opportunity. 3 defenders for this B-bomb site. We've got 2 in Donut. Favin will once again face Jambo's AWP. Now dismounts after a second missed opportunity, though that one was a lot harder. Unlikely to get an opportunity from this point forward until the site take actually happens. He sees a little bit of Rawls' leg there on the outside, but once it commits to cave, it's going to be down to the riflers to entry this.
Nasty timing for Jambo. Could have found something, just missed a chance to do so. And now the CTs, they're playing it passively. Fnatic doing the same, but 45 seconds on the clock means that at some point they're going to need to hurry up. It seems that B is their target once more. Jambo catches Kragan and Rawls falls as well. It's all down to Favin, and he's unable to do anything as Fear is putting up important frags for his team on this map. It's finally going to be 8 for Fnatic. 9 have been holding them back, but Fnatic are going to have a convincing lead at the half, and the half ain't done just yet.
Yeah, we have one more round after this, and this is a 2 versus 5 just to save. Absolutely, Fnatic can go for a cheeky hunt. They don't want to lose too many players, but Blame will be able to drop a rifle into the next, and he's going to drop this AWP, in fact. Montu clothesline from the back. Great positioning from the lurk. No opportunities for 9. Back to the drawing board.
Gonna have to think of something. Fnatic in the driver's seat of this best of 3. Inferno was close. Ancient does not seem to be painting the same picture.
No.
It's a commanding, dominant lead from this T side, and look at the buy on 9, not looking so good. 3 SMGs, only 1 rifle, and that's a FAMAS. Not the rifle you want to have in this position. Fnatic want to pick up some pace, but the frags come in 2 for 2. But Rawls so low, Kragan tagged as well, not looking good for 9. Good flash from Montu, but only good for 1 was Rawls, and they know that at least 1 more player is there.
Bomb is down. Is he really going to try to plant this? It's just to bait out some shots, it looks like, but Montu is too wise for it. Oh, Jambo, another whiffed shot. He did land that one on Kragan last round, but he needs to do better. Fear, he'll have the opportunity. It's a one-on-one clutch, and he's running all the way to the A site.
Yeah, and Kragan is not even close to B. He's gonna not know what's happening until it already happens, and Fear, he's gonna have more than enough time to take a pretty good post-plant position and put the opposing player on the back foot. The only good thing for Kragan at this point is you gotta smoke, so you can play around it. You can just smoke off the bomb and hope to bait Fear out. That molly is gonna get annulled.
Well, that HE, though, can absolutely break it. He'll hear the smoke bloom. He'll know his opportunity. Breaks the smoke, sees that nobody's on the bomb. Kragan brought down low. Now knows where he is, and look at that. He tries to go for it. Tried to have the confidence, but it's 9 for Fnatic.
Oh yeah, looking
Team 9
good.
are stuck on 3.
Fnatic seems to be 1 foot in the final. 9 are gonna have to hope for a miracle if they want to get through. Oh, look at that. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Please be a knife. Please be a knife.
Come on, make history.
Please be a knife. I'd be so... No, it's not gonna be a knife. It's gonna be a...
Khalil, it looks like. All right.
Underwhelming.
Well, that would have been a sick moment to cap this victory for Fnatic off. Their first half is resoundingly theirs. Now, Team 9 have an opportunity to claw back, but they need this next pistol, man. If they drop that, it's basically over and open and shut.
Yeah. It's so important for Fnatic to start things off well in the second half. You train together a few rounds, you already forget what happened in the first. But of course, they're gonna have to play, or rather fight, an uphill battle if they want to get themselves even a shot at tying things up in this best of 3. ENCE waits in the grand final. The schedule says the grand final should start at 1800 hours, but that has the potential to change depending on when this best of 3 ends.
Fnatic want to keep us on time, that's for sure. Preparing their CT pistol round. talking over their options. I'm still thinking about what could have been in that case, man. That could have been different. Team 9 are thinking about what this series could have been. They gotta quiet those thoughts and think about what it could still be. Charging forward into mid. They've got the bottom of mid control, and the red room smoked off. Default pistol moves here. Is Bob just holding for any aggression outside of A main? Jambo won't give it to him just yet. Pretty far forward though, great scouting, but nobody is towards Donut. And now maybe Jambo hears it. He's gonna call in the rotation. This is gonna be an A take, and they might get the bomb down without any casualties. Bob changes that story.
Yeah, so that was important, Frag. As Jambo is down, Fnatic with a man disadvantage have to go for a retake. They do have a smoke, and 3 players with armor, as well as Blame F being that raid boss with the dualies, hoping to find something. And now the retake should start. They know that they don't really have a lot of time, so they need to pounce onto the site as soon as possible, look for kills, and that's a good start as Crimson Mattis take 2. Now in trouble might be 9 as they're getting swarmed, they're getting destroyed. Faven only good for 1, and Montu the only one left in. Donut takes 2! Oh, that was important. That was vital, and 9 are gonna claim the pistol round. This best of 3 might not be over just yet as Montu takes a triple.
High emotions onto Faven. Looking at his player cam, you'd have thought the round was over, but Montu smiles brightly and carries them to a pistol round victory. So no team has dominated those opening rounds of the halves. 2 for 2 so far, tit for tat. Fnatic are gonna be held back from getting to their 10th round. But they have an opportunity in the CT force buy. They got enough kills to look into it. Instead, they save. And they're going to stack their players in interesting locations. Sounding off with the Deagle. When you hear a Deagle, you don't know if it's a force buy or not. You don't know if it's a save. You have no idea. Your thoughts are that it's going to be a force. Let's see what the protocol is.
Prim's the only player with something to offer on the side of Fnatic. When it comes to weaponry, of course. They're just getting spammed a little bit. Not trouble just yet. Fnatic hoping that this stack towards B can actually pay dividends, only leaving Blame F on the other part of the map. And with the P250, what can you hope for, as it seems that 9 have set their sights on A?
Yeah. And it's only Blame with a P250. Not really a great opportunity for him. Especially if Rawls and Kragan end up going for some scouting reports, they might end up finding some frags of their own. And if they go down, it's just SMGs, which Fnatic are going to discard into the next round anyway, having fully saved. Oh, okay, well, never mind what I say. After Rawls only clears 2, it's down to Montu, who has been brought down to quite a low amount of HP. The Deagle, if it connects on him, could be it. And look at that, Fear just uses the MAC-10 instead. He'll be brought down, but the AK secured by Blame. That is a nice haul for Fnatic. Could have been better. Could have been even more expensive, but as of right now, Team 9 will get their 5th. This is as good as they did the last time Fnatic played this team on this very stage, in this event. It was 13-5. 9 need to do much better than that if they want to extend play and take us to Train, which also, need I remind you, was devastating for the side of 9.
Yeah, but the thing is, should we go to Train, I can see it being a completely different story than 2 days ago. It was like 13-2, right? Fnatic didn't even give them a chance on that map. But I think that 9 were a bit surprised by the way that Fnatic played. And of course, 9, first of all, need to take us to Train, and then we might talk about things. They still have a 4-round disadvantage. They need to complete the comeback. It was 9-3 at the half. Now Fnatic fighting back. Ooh, well played from Blame. Looking for the second in the smoke, keeping himself alive as well. It's a +3 from Fnatic, and 9 destroyed at the beginning of this round. Mattis actually might put the nail in the coffin, though Rawls awaits with that AK. At the end of the day, we can say that it was a mistake made.
That's the only one. Blame F with a masterclass with that AK. Controls the spray well into the smoke. Finishes off a second frag. And for Fear to also collect one, man, everything kind of fell apart there. Nine had no recourse. They are in a 2 versus 5 with the first found, and Fear. He can just slink back here with the AK. He's already got 1 frag. He's got 16 kills in map number 2. He has been playing lights out this series.
And of course, when the one leading the tactics is doing good frag-wise, we know that that can often translate to the team really playing well, the calls being made well, as he's contributing with the frags as well. Not only that, but also maybe having the courage to take some gutsy plays. Nine not giving this round up just yet. They're gonna walk to the site, but now contested. Rouse finds a frag. That gives them an opening. Don't forget, BlameF is so low and Fnatic can't stop this plan. Might there still be a chance for Nine, as Rouse wants to make a little bit more room for himself, but Fear is the guy on Ancient, and you can't stop him on this map. Finally, Montu does, but Krim's good on the trade. It's double digits.
There we go.
For Fnatic.
Double digits, finally. But it's come so easily for them. That was a slow, grueling round, and yet still, Fear posting up 17 frags after the back of this play from Blame. Blind, and readjusts for another blind kill, and gets away before the HE sails him to the next dimension. Worked out so wonderfully for Benjamin Brenner. He has worked tirelessly with this squad, and of course, you mentioned earlier, public opinion not always on his side for his style of play, but right now, he is serving up the goods. 14 kills and only 5 deaths. Stats gonna look so green.
Oh yeah, and that makes you feel good. If you take a convincing victory in the lower bracket final the same day you're playing a final, we might see a different story in that Fnatic ENCE matchup than was the case yesterday. Still, of course, Fnatic need to take that victory. 3 rounds left to go as Nine want to contest. Red Drew, Mattis waits. Ooh, a labor trade from Jambo is going to lead to a 2-for-2 trade. That led to Fear as well, playing something a bit more risky, and Favin takes him down. Now trouble looms for Fnatic. Only BlameF and Krims remain.
They don't know where the T's are going. BlameF and Krims burrowed into Donut. Kraken gonna be looking for them. He spots BlameF, but that's the last thing he sees. And the bomb is dropped at the feet of BlameF and Krims. This is still an opportunity, and they take it! 2 versus 3! Outnumber them, but never outgun them!
It seems that everything Fnatic does on this map turns to gold, especially against Nine. It was 13-5 2 days ago. Seems to be a similar scenario awaiting us here. Broken is the side of Nine, hoping for a miracle.
It would have to be quite miraculous. It would have to be shades of Dust 2's closing rounds the last time these two teams met. Favin having crazy low HP clutches. Bob XD fragging through smokes blind. These are the shades of how that map went and how the comeback was cemented. But that's what they would need, it feels. Something miraculous to even get started on Ancient.
And look at this. No money. They're gonna have to play for overtime, of course, unless they make some magic happen with these pistols. Not to be expected. Fnatic are already grouping up towards B. They wanna, or rather Nine grouping up towards B. You want to try and surprise Fnatic, but already info gathered. Fear with the SMG can just shred them with that gun. Good only for 1 though, but still, Fnatic absolutely know what's going on, and Nine between a rock and a hard place, felled 1 by 1. It's 12 for Fnatic and 7 match points.
Like it or not, and the crowd clearly likes it, Fnatic look like they are going to repeat history. The last time they played on Ancient against Nine, 13-5. Apparently the next time is distant for it as well. There's another buy available. Nine have 1 last chance, and as you mentioned, playing for OT. 7 map and match points. Fnatic feels like they would never squander a lead like this. 5 rifles, including the AWP. Team 9 just onto AKs, and their utility already partially spent. They're going to need to make this a slow affair. Round number 18 could be where we end things yet again on Ancient. Fnatic will fire their way into that grand final, but not if Faven has something to say about it. The trade elsewhere with Crims, but Natus still standing. Will Rawls check him? Rawls will not check him. An opening, courtesy of the hometown hero.
Now things are looking dire for 9, even more so when Jambo checks Kraken and info gathered, damage dealt, 9 in trouble, and Fnatic, they can pounce toward this site. 4v2, bomb planted. There might still be a hope, as Faven was the hero for 9 so many times before, and now he needs to shine. But against 4 players, not a chance. Finding the first, looking for the second, and he might give himself a chance. 50 HP, now gets swarmed by 2, and that is it. Fnatic go through to the grand finals. We're gonna have a rematch on our hands. It's ENCE Fnatic in the finals of the Tipsport Conquest of Prague.
The favorites make it through. ENCE may have bested Fnatic last time, but they are gonna have to do it again in quick succession. Fnatic dismissing Team 9. No opportunity for them on Ancient. 13-5, twice in a row in the same event. And that's gotta feel real good for the favorites here in this particular match, but not so against ENCE. They're gonna have to take on the little label of plucky underdog and upstart. Despite their veterancy, there they are. Winners of the previous match, we are gonna see them once again, one more time for Conquest of Prague.
And credit to 9, they had a miraculous comeback in the Swiss stage, doing well online, going to LAN and claiming 3rd place. That's not too bad. But from the start of this tournament, we knew which 2 teams are the ones to look at. It's ENCE, it's Fnatic. They've played the best Counter-Strike out of all of the teams, of course, in the Swiss stage, and they've proven that on LAN as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, a big cheer for the second finalist, Team Fnatic, that bought their tickets to playoffs. And the second cheer is also welcome here because Team 9 are the 3rd place of Tipsport Conquest of Prague. Come here, guys. Come collect your medals. Also your check for 2,500 euros. Faven, now you know it hurts right now, tough match. What was the most complicated part about the second meeting with the Fnatic in the tournament?
To be honest, I need to rewatch the game as well and see exactly what happened, but I think we didn't play our game at all today. On another day, I think it will be closer at least, and yeah, they just played better.
Do you think the first lost map, your map pick, was the key problem? Because Fnatic are great on Ancient in their current form, so the first map could have been the key for the victory.
Yeah, I think especially we had good rounds on Inferno, like we lost then afterwards. So if we win just 2 or 3 more rounds, which we had the advantage, I think we will win Inferno, and then we would see at least a 3rd map.
To wrap this tournament up, you started with a pretty rough start of the tournament, but still you made it here to Prague. You made it to the 3rd place. So in the end, not so bad tournament, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we wanted to go to the grand final and maybe even win it. It sucks to go out now, but it's better than last place, of course.
Thank you so much. And for the last time, Team 9, 1st place of Tipsport Conquest of Prague. VRS points also plus 2,500 euros for them. Next up, the finals, Fnatic versus ENCE, coming shortly.
Hej, šéfe, dostanu vás ven. Tady máte Red Bull.
Co?
Dávám křídla.
Křídla, jo. fakt vtipný.
Seš ready na další level?
Hackni realitu. Urči si vlastní pravidla a staň se tím, kým chceš. Game. Nová vůně od Straight.
Začít něco novýho se zdá vždycky těžký. Co ráč? Ale ať ti to půjde jakkoliv. Jedno je jistý. Že si to užiješ. Vítej v největší komunitě sázkařů. Tipsport.
Enjoy the Conquest of Prague. KFC. Game on.
It felt like nothing went Nine way, of course. I mean, no matter what happened on the map, it always felt like Fnatic either outplayed Nine or it was just a bit of luck needed for Nine to close some rounds for sure. And I think my colleague Kotti has just such a round ready to analyze and to show us that it was indeed the case.
Well, we'll take a look into round number 16, which, in my opinion, decided the result of this match. It was the last chance for Nine to make something with this matchup. During it, we can take a look how they took mid and took even man advantage, but sadly for them, the situation crumbled after a great setup made by Fnatic. Let's take a little pause right here. We can see two players, Fnatic right in the donut, where sadly Nine didn't have any information about them. One player in the red room, one in heaven, and then of course there was BobXD playing in front of A-bomb side. You don't have any kind of information what is happening either on the A side, either on the B-bomb side. Where are these guys? Were Nine asking themselves, and they had to somehow to risk it with a minute and 12 seconds on the clock. They didn't, sadly for them, made the right choice. We can see Kraken with a bomb on his back, trying to somehow sum the situation up, but BlameF and Crims were frost in the donut, just waiting for their enemy reaction, and Kraken, because of that missing information on the top part of the map, he had to go. Take towards 11-5 that sent Team 9 to not only 5 points, but what's the most important is eco in next round, and of course 12 point for Fnatic, and then rest is history, and bronze medal will be hanging on neck of Team 9's players.
Thank you very much, Kotti, for great analysis. I mean, we mentioned two names after the first map, after Inferno, on Nine side that needed to step up, that needed to lead the team to a victory on map 2, and that was Rouse and BobXD. Storm, I mean, how did they perform?
An omnipresent player for the Nine efforts. But it didn't matter. Whenever he actually got 1 or 2 or 3 kills, the team never made it to actually securing the round. So the effort went in vain. And about Bobek, It was not his day today. We couldn't really see him on Inferno. We couldn't really see him on Ancient. His famous multi-kills that we were talking about quite a lot just weren't there. And whenever someone doesn't perform like this, and especially Bobek, he was pretty instrumental yesterday after 500 in the game against 500. It's just seen somewhere, and the results, yeah.
And the thing I was talking about before this very BO3, they need to improve CT side. That didn't happen on Ancient. 9-3 in favor of Fnatic. Terrible start of this map for 9. Only 3 kills across the first 4 rounds. On the other hand, in 5th round, BlameF had 8-0, Mattis had 9-0. In total, you can get 25 kills, and 17 of them had these 2 players combined.
That's just insane numbers.
Blame actually had the first 2 rounds double openers, so he was just blazing through the defenses and penetrating them like nothing. So yeah, the start wasn't just there for 9, and from there they just didn't recover.
Well, great T-side from Fnatic, obviously. For example, 7th round where Fear was in a 2v3 situation with BlameF. Bomb planted on the A bomb side, but no utility. They've decided to play around A main. Fear was boosted by his teammate onto the boost, and then he made a beautiful 3K, and then beautiful hype to cheer fans on. Really strong T-side from Fnatic. Sadly for 9, that didn't work out well for them.
Again, Fear extremely well played today by individual means. I mean, if you look at him on Inferno and Ancient, he was just everywhere. And these clutches or these situations where he has so much impact, that's the difference between this is the difference between Fnatic today and Fnatic yesterday.
For sure, for sure. I mean, let's hear from one last member of 9. Let's hear what Barry has to say.
Team 9's coach, Barry, thank you so much for coming to the interview. How do you feel right now, right after a match?
I'm very disappointed. I felt like we had Inferno. We lost this stupid, where they saved 1 AK and had eco round, I think. After that, we let them into the game again. And I think Ancient, we didn't, they also owned us pretty hard last time. But I think we would have a good chance on train. We talked everything through on train from last time when we lost 13-2, so I felt like if we would have gotten the decider, we would have won. So.
Throughout the tournament, you struggled with bad starts, but on the first map, it looked like you had a great start, but then failed to close the map. Do you think the players have this problem in their minds and then couldn't wrap their minds around the good start and the ending of the map?
No, I think we normally have pretty good mental, and I think it was just this round that they got the momentum back in the game. So I would say, it's just how CS works sometimes. You get the momentum and then they start to snowball the game, and it's hard sometimes.
You and the players said they were comfortable with the Veto. Was the train your trick you had in your sleeves for this match? Were you really comfortable with that map?
I think normally train is our best map, so I think first time we played them, they came with a very unexpected game plan, and we were not adapting in the game. So I would not say it's a trick, it's just our best map. So we were very pleased to get that as a decider.
But after all, how do you feel about the whole tournament? Because you started with a struggle with 0-2, then you made it to the Prague. After all, right now 3rd place, not so bad, right?
Oh no, not bad at all. I think when we joined the tournament, we expected to come here, and we even had the expectation of winning. But when we had this 0-2 in the Swiss, we were okay. Let's see what happens, and let's see if we can qualify. And then we were bootcamping when we did it, and we were playing really, really good in the bootcamp. So actually, our expectations was very high here because we were playing so good in the lane environment.
Right now, you are after the bootcamp. You are after another LAN. Do you think this month will push you forward since you spent a lot of time together with the team?
I think we gained a lot of experience, and it's we still have some unexperienced guys. So I think we gained a lot. We have a lane later next month, which I think it will be valuable. This tournament, I think we learned a lot, how we need to do stuff in lane environment. So yeah.
Thank you so much for the whole tournament, and congratulations for the 3rd place.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for having us. It was a pleasure.
I mean, what Barry said is so much truth in that, because they started 0-2 in this tournament, in the Swiss stage, right? So this is where the one match at a time can lead to, right? All the way through Swiss to actually close it 3-2, and then of course decider match against Navi Junior, one of the favorites to make it to LAN.
Exactly.
And now third place. I mean, that's amazing run.
That was one of the biggest surprises of the qualification phase, that actually Navy Junior didn't make it to the LAN. On the other hand, we had Fashion UA as well, but that's another story. Still 9 impressive. Of course, the 2 losses they actually have, it was 2 best of ones. It was 11-13 in both times. I think one of Sashi, I'm not sure about the other one, but it was both Kubiks. It was not easy opponents, so close. But after that, they showed the mental fortitude that actually Barry was talking about. They did show it. They won 4 in a row. It was best of 3s. So they definitely showed their quality. And yeah, they get here. It's the 3rd place. And I think for them, it's still success, honestly.
But still, according to the script, quote-unquote, we wrote before this tournament, because we were thinking that 9 and 500 will somehow end up on 4th and 3rd place, and of course Fnatic and ENCE being the 2 top teams that will face each other in the finals.
I just saw in a chat that we are already running the voting for MVP of this LAN, or just the whole tournament. Do you think there is someone on 9 who can aspire to be the most valuable player? Or will it be just someone from Fnatic? Can we just say that?
That's more likely.
Yeah.
The latter option,
I mean,
definitely.
Mantu had not a bad tournament, but Faven, for example, I mean, he excelled in like first day, just with exception of the train. I mean, he was there.
And that's the problem. We have to admit that the train, I think, totally erased all of their chances to not maybe attempt the MVP voting, because of course if they reach somehow into finals or won the tournament, they probably would be high in the statistics, but like this, with the 3rd place, it's very unlikely to see MVP someone who isn't even in the finals.
Yeah, it's gonna be some op again, isn't it?
I don't think
not
so.
Really maybe not this tournament. I mean, it's in the world scene, it's I mean, you can, there's like 90% it will get to
Zaibu.
Zaibu, just some sniper.
It's basically pick your name.
Right?
Oh, it's Zaibu again, huh? What a surprise! But yeah,
but in here, I mean, we have of course amazing snipers like Jumbo, but we have also very good rifles who carry the teams often.
Exactly, so, and either it's Kaspersky or Blymev and Mattis, they are still high in the statistics, and these 2 names were high here as well. Of course, Fear somehow mixed up in there, 18 kills, great performance by him, and I have to say that he proved that his qualities on IGL are not pushing away the qualities on a rifle.
No. And again, Crims, he was such a silent but dangerous force to be reckoned with, because he didn't really have any flashy kills, I would say, but so many important kills he had.
The close round when Blymev actually ended up almost killing Rals while defusing. There was the round where Crims ran through the smoke, where 9 kind of missed their smoke into the doors. Crims went into the side, find an opening kill, and secure the bomb plant for Fnatic. So a little place like this were in his favor, and 13 kills, of course, it's nothing amazing. But if we take a look at the impact of each of the rounds where he found these kills, that's the difference maker.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, when we looked at the stats for Fnatic, it's the same exact thing like we said on Inferno. There is no one who fell behind quite a lot. I mean, Jumbo with 10 kills, right? But still, that's not too shabby.
We gotta say that Fnatic, of course, started on the T side, and yeah, that's a good way to not to get three rounds on CT side when you start on T side and stream your enemy. But funny thing is out, Jumbo on T side, yeah, you have the AVP, but you have other options as well. It's Ancient. So he wasn't really that much on the AVP on CT as he would if he started there. So that might skew his stats a bit, but still he did what he needed to do, and that was enough.
Yes, for sure. I mean, that's the beauty of Fnatic, that there is no one who will lack so much that the other players can't make up the difference, right? Yeah. I mean, when we looked at it, if Mattis and BlameF will continue in this way against ENCE, I mean, is there something that can stop them?
Kaspersky.
And as DY.
As do I, of course. We spoke about him as a keeper of the team who is able to show a consistent performance, but Kaspersky was amazing yesterday. Either it was opening kills or closing rounds or multi-fragging. Every stat went in his favor, and he was definitely one of the most highlighted players of ENCE to yesterday's plan.
I mean, 5 maps, 147 rating, and they already played Fnatic, so I think that speaks for itself, this statistic, and yeah, Polish extravaganza. I love the guy.
Yeah. If we look at the both IGLs that will face off in the next match, I mean, Glavy also is not like the most fragging IGL, right? So could that be something to worry about when ENCE look at it and see like 18 on the opposing side on the IGL?
I think that's, no offense to Rals, but I think Glaive is able to frag a bit more. He used to be a really, really good fragging IGL back in his time, but it changed a bit. But I think depending on the strategy, I don't think it's going to matter that much because he's going to be able to pull up his weight in the duel.
Yeah, and I think we can find some similarities between Fear and Glaive, of course. For example, utilities, Glaive, the founder, let's say, of today's meta, or how the CS is played with utilities. So, for example, the showcase from the previous matchup, we've seen Fnatic versus 9. Fear called also some cheeky-breaky nade stacks and so on. Round number 18 on Inferno, the ace strike onto the banana car, which killed Mantu, and then it costed 9 the round. So
and there were numerous other tries that actually fell apart, but it was a good try. It was good intention. Of course, you could see that they actually have read the positions of 9 quite well from the previous, I think, data they had on them on Inferno, and it showed. It really did show. So I agree with you.
I now wonder what Independent, the coach of Fnatic, has to say about this past match.
Independent once more, sorry. Independent, congratulations for the finals. You managed to beat 9 for the second time in a row. What was the main difference in this match? Because you looked more convincing, you looked more consistent.
We just played Counter-Strike, I think. That was the difference. We played Counter-Strike. When you feel the game, when you have the flow, you don't really look for something extra, you know. You just try to find the rhythm, and we just play Counter-Strike.
In that case, this was a huge swing from the momentum you had yesterday to today's match. What did you do specifically? Did you do some chill? Did you do some sightseeing in Prague, for example, or just another day, another game?
We didn't change anything, really.
So for the finals, will you try anything special? Because you didn't beat ENCE, now you can do it better. So is there anything you will try?
I don't think so. I think we have a clear idea how we want to play, and hopefully we're going to give you guys very good finals. And I'm proud we made it to the finals, and the job is not finished.
You seem more confident today than you did yesterday, so I might believe you, but still I need to ask, is there anything special you would or you will try in the Veto? Because this Veto looked kinda in your way, I would say, since you are good on both of the first 2 maps. So is there anything you want to try in the finals?
Not really. We can play 7 maps, and that's good for us.
Okay, thank you so much for the interview, and good luck for the finals.
Thank you.
I mean, Fnatic felt like a complete team, these 2 matches, right? These 2 maps. So what can ENCE kind of use for their advantage? Yesterday, we saw ENCE utilize they were amazing in identifying weak spots, right? We saw it on Anubis, that there were some perfect pushes from 2 sides when they saw like, okay, we got open and just go. It was amazing calling, amazing communication. Will this be enough against this Fnatic that we just saw?
I think finding the open spaces, the pockets in deployment of each player is always way how to work and how to win. But well, Fnatic felt really strong against 9 today, aim-wise, strat-wise, and really focused into the game. But of course, ENCE made it into finals. They 2-0'd them in a previous match, so I think they know how to play against them.
Yeah, but what I gotta say on Fnatic's behalf is that they actually managed to do something that they weren't able to against 9, especially winning those man advantage situations for themselves, not losing them, and actually getting those clutches, getting good late round calls, which didn't work out yesterday against ENCE, and that's the improvement. That's the way they want to play, and as you could see from the interview with Independent, he's very comfortable. He even said he's not probably going to change anything much. And that's the difference. It's all about confidence. It's all about patience, about fixing the little mistakes. And that's what helped ENCE win yesterday's game. It was small decision-making there.
Exactly. For example, on Ancient, when the bomb was dropped and they were up 1 man, they stay calm. They didn't push. They didn't take 1v1 duels. They played together, waited for enough time to make their opponents crumble.
Yeah.
And even the mid rounds compared to yesterday were looking sharp today.
Yeah.
When I looked at the yesterday match, the only player on Fnatic side, of course they lost 2-0, so it's kind of makes sense. But the only player without negative KD was blamef. Today in the second map, he had like 3.5 or something, 3.4. That's amazing. How can you stop him? Because these were not like eco farming kills.
Poof. Well, I think that's a question that a lot of teams were asking themselves whenever they played Prime blamef. So not a lot of them could actually stop him, even given his 4 top 20 earnings on HLTV, top 10 to 20 players. Glaive probably is going to have something in store for us. He's going to be cooking up something to stop blamef, Mattis, and the rest of the guys. But if he's feeling it and you're against him in a duel, you have a slim chance of winning. And what can you do against that? Trade. Go together, 2 guys, maybe some utilities, try to get him out of his position. It depends, of course, on CTT, but it's definitely doable, but it's hard.
It's, like, for me, it's still insane to imagine that he only was at 2 majors to compete. Like, with the Astralis, I mean, that was just... It shows that if you're just unlucky for little bit of time and you get out of the main series of tournaments and you have to compete to get to the tier 1, it's just so difficult to perform. Yeah.
But when it comes to both these teams, actually, right now we're still going to look at the recent results of Fnatic and 9. As you can see, Ancient, again, by the way, 13-5.
13-5, yes, again.
So it seems like a cursed number for a 9 on this map, especially against Fnatic, but it is what it is that plays for them. But what I wanted to say about Fnatic and ENCE, the ENCE are extremely good in utility and actually mitigating the utility. When I was looking at Flash stats, when I was doing research for today's game, they were actually in average blinded 1 second less most of the players than Fnatic. And when it's between 1 and 2 or 3 seconds, that's a lot. So it means, of course, that they're able to properly utilize anti-flash positions and then go for the kills, etc.
I mean, but today we saw similar from Fnatic, because yesterday, or even today before the Inferno, we were talking about like how 9 were super good in holding banana. They were using utility to basically 500 couldn't do anything there.
And we could see it today too, a bit.
Yeah, a bit, but Fnatic kind of overwhelmed them there. Bobsgdy, he didn't do anything there in the first map. So is Fnatic like more ready to this kind of play?
I think maybe they learned a bit from yesterday's matches on Inferno, if we're talking about this map from 9 point of view. We could see Bobek in one instance on B Banana upper where he was, I think, jumped up on top of sandbags, that he actually got multiple kills. 9 got the round. It seemed like it might go to overtime. It didn't at the end, but it did, almost did. And that was only one instance. And I think Fnatic actually did their research. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were expecting. And on the T side, they just plummeted through B.
Yeah, today the aggression towards the bottom banana wasn't working really well for Team 9. Rather than playing around the top banana was the right choice. But well, Fnatic were ready for that as well, and we could see many late rounds on Inferno where they just threw the utils late and pushed through and did, for example, multi-kill without any chance for refrag. Mattis, for example, had one beautiful round in there.
And it was incredibly hard for Nine to actually take space, even on the A side, or actually around the A side, because there was Crims and I think Mattis quite a few times in the apartments pushed out, and they were getting those kills, even with SMGs, even with pistols.
Yeah.
So in that case, Nine actually had really big trouble going either B or A. They still got a lot of rounds, that's true, but they had a lot of trouble.
Speaking about Mattis and Crims, I need to correct myself. They are sitting in the old rotation, so Crims at the very left side of their booth and Mattis next to him.
Yes, we checked. But for now, let's check as well where we are standing in this tournament. Of course, we know because there is only one match left to go, but let's recapitulate. 500 were the first one to leave us yesterday against 9. 9 followed them today, but with at least some pricey metal on their necks. Bronze for Team 9, and now it's gonna be a rematch of Fnatic and ENCE. I mean, that's what we hoped for, I think.
Definitely, but I feel kind of sad because of the last results, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. I was hoping for 2-1s to make it somehow spicy, so maybe they are leaving it for the final triple OT, quadruple OT, and so on.
I have some chili here in the back, so I'm gonna spice it up for the finals as well.
Yeah, no, I think we can definitely witness that, because even though yesterday it was 2-0, there were a few rounds that if they went Fnatic way, we would have definitely seen 3 maps.
And gotta say, especially on Anubis, because
For sure.
it was 13-9, this was 13-10. But why I want to say something about Anubis is because that's where it felt like Fnatic crumbled a bit in the late run decisions. It seemed like nothing went well. They had good defaults, they pushed the right side, but in the end, whenever it was a decision to throw smoke there, or just go somewhere in 2 people, they look at the wrong angles and just fell apart. And I think that's not gonna happen again today in this quantity. So this is gonna be a difference maker, and this is why I think, honestly, it's gonna go to 3 maps, and it's not my chili in the back.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, remember to vote for our MVP, SteelSeries MVP of this whole tournament. Of course, now we'll get to the last match. Last match of Tipsport Conquest of Prague awaits us. Once again, it's ENCE versus Fnatic. Fnatic has to play 2 best-of-3s today, but I think they can manage. We'll take one last look at 9 in the last video we have ready for them. So say goodbye to, if it's your favorite team, to 9.
Hey guys, I'm Craig from 9, and I'm gonna taste some Czech stuff. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
I guess I'll just start with this.
Cartão C6 Carbon Mastercard Black. Salas VIP no mundo todo. Até 3,5 pontos por dólar gasto. E você escolhe a cor que tem mais a ver com você, para suas viagens e para a sua vida.
Something inside of the chocolate I can see. This tastes like Polish, like Bavaric. You guys don't know, but this is really good.
I think this is me.
I'm also a coffee enjoyer, and I think it tastes a bit of coffee, so I would give this a really good one, actually.
We have this picao.
How the hell do I eat this? Do I just suck on it? Or?
Seems like it's some chocolate stuff.
What is this?
Yeah, tastes like chocolate. It's very sweet, I think, but it's okay.
It's meh. It's also meh, I think. Mid, maybe a bit under mid. This looks really dangerous. I don't know about this one. Hey, it also smells a little bit. I can have a bit. Oh, the smell already.
No, this is not good.
This is... No, I don't like this. This is horrible. But, oh, it's a bit strong for me. Oh, this is really bad. Okay, now the cola. This is also bad. But maybe it's the cheese with the cola that's making it bad. It's weird, bro. It's like, I don't know what it is.
This is good. It tastes like a bit normal Coke.
Sorry, chick, but this is not me.
Seš ready na další level?
Hackni realitu. Urči si vlastní pravidla a staň se tím, kým chceš. Game. Nová vůně od Straight.
Vodafone Playzone Arena. Chceš se bavit? Tady jsi správně.
Hej, šéfe, dostanu vás ven. Tady máte Red Bull.
Co?
Dávám křídla.
Křídla, jo. Fakt vtipný.
Hraj svoji hru. S neomezenými tarify pro mladé je to v tobě od Vodafonu. Teď s Apple AirTagem za 1 korunu.
Začít něco novýho se zdá vždycky těžký. Co ráč? Ale ať ti to půjde jakkoliv. Jedno je jistý. Že si to užiješ. Vítej v největší komunitě sázkařů. Tipsport.
Enjoy the Conquest of Prague. KFC. Game on.
For the first time ever, your game gets 100+ audio presets. Pick a pro-tuned audio profile for each game and vibe to the soundtrack of you.
So today, me and Paddy is going to look at some pictures, and we're going to guess what pictures are from Czech and what is not.
You see on C there is flag, but I don't know if it.
I mean, we
Czech.
Yeah, I think the number C is Czech, and I know for a fact that B is also Czech. Yeah.
Literally.
So we have B is Czech, C is Czech, D is Hogwarts, and A is Greece.
Okay, let's go. That's good. Wait, isn't this Elisa?
Bro, I mean, we have to guess the players first.
Guardian is from Slovenia.
Slovakia, yeah. I think so at least.
And Oscar
is from Czech, no?
And this tournament is Czech because there is Sampi and Dynamite, but I don't know.
Yeah.
This is Elisa for sure.
Yeah, it could be. It is actually, yeah. So we have A is Finland, D is Czech, B is Oscar from Czech this time, and Guardian is not from Czech this time around.
Yeah.
Okay, this is mine, bro. This is mine because I'm watching the most cartoons probably. Bro, I'd never seen any of this.
I remember watching this as a kid.
Bro, this one smoking is from Czech for sure.
Smurf? No way, it's from Czech. Why they would put Smurf there? It's not even like the others. Oh, I don't know, let's say B and A is. Yeah, look at this guy. It's like Victor.
Yeah, okay. We say B and A. This is Dua Lipa, no?
Yeah.
Is she from Czech? No, I don't think so, no?
But she had concert here yesterday.
She's from Czech, bro.
I don't know, she had concert here. This guy, I have no fucking clue.
This guy is probably from Italy or something, no? I would say A and B from Czech.
I would say A and B.
Okay, we say A and B from Czech.
Bro, I don't know where people are from. Neofrag is from Czech.
Neofrag is from Czech. Do you think Stuko is maybe from Slovakia? I have some kind of feeling that he's from
I'm pretty sure he's not from Czech, bro.
I think we're going with D and C, no? From Czech. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, let's go. Sport people? What the fuck is wearing a diaper?
Bro, you know who this is?
No.
Petr Cech.
Petr Cech?
Yeah.
Czech?
Yeah.
From Czechia?
Bro, he was goalkeeper for, I think, for Arsenal and also, I think, from Chelsea, no? I think this guy, he won so much. I don't remember his name, but he won so much in F1.
So for sure it's not from Czech. If he won a lot.
Okay, we'll say D is from Czech.
Mafia.
Yeah.
Czech Mafia.
I would say either A or B, right? Could be from Czech.
I don't know. Okay, let's just go for A and B.
What about D?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't
It's
think so.
very
We say A and B. A and B.
A and B.
I think everybody knew Petr Cech. He's Czech.
And
so
by name,
Petr
that's
Cech,
cool.
Czech,
But
right?
it was interesting to me that I think it was Glaive who actually said he played for Arsenal, and he actually remembered the last team he played for.
Because he had the Arsenal jersey on the photo.
Oh, that's right.
But he was thinking about the most known
Yeah.
team, and he guessed Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, no one got Jaromir Jagr. That's just
interesting.
no hockey fan. And it's like Nordic countries,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Well, Denmark popped up this year,
Yeah,
but
that's
for
true.
example, Finland,
Yeah.
Port is
Sweden,
from Finland.
I mean,
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
definitely a hockey country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's surprising. And the gaming, I still can't get over the gaming part. I mean, that kind of hurts.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
you play CS a lot.
Yeah.
But you also play like Escape from Tarkov. sometimes
Yeah, I
and
did.
Other stuff.
It's not a Czech game.
Yeah, no, but it's there. So
Yeah.
you should be at least like, oh, this is not Czech for sure.
Well, to be honest, KCD or Mafia are more towards the single-player game, and personally, I'm not a big fan of those. I like to compete against other players, so maybe that's why Podi and Glaive and others just didn't know exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can sit next to someone who doesn't like Mafia, but
I don't say I don't like it, but
I'm just kidding, bro.
Oh wow,
that was a low ball for me.
Okay, let's get to ENCE versus Fnatic. That's why we are here, right? That's what we have been waiting for. The finals. These two amazing teams that some people from the very first look at the top 16 that made it to the online stages, they were like, okay, it's gonna be ENCE for sure in the finals and probably Fnatic. So I think everything is going as planned so far, but they met yesterday and it wasn't that one-sided, but it wasn't even like
that close.
That close as well, right?
It was closer though. When it comes to losing maps for Fnatic, each time they actually met in the last few weeks or months, let's say, whenever Fnatic lost a map, it was not even double digits. Yesterday it was 13-9 on Ancient. Of course, that's not double digits, but it was very close.
On Anubis.
Anubis, sorry. It was 13-9, and on Dust it was 13-10, so it was much closer than it was in the online stage where they actually met. So I have high hopes that Fnatic are going to be able to pull something at least close like this.
Yeah, or at least win one map, because we were talking,
Hopefully.
it was not that close, but of course the results on the maps were pretty tight.
Yeah.
How much does that you have to play 2 best-of-3s in a row on LAN comes into play? I mean, for Fnatic, they will have like an hour break between the matches, but still, it's LAN. It's different than being at home online. You know, you can do whatever you want there.
That's true, but I think Faven nailed it perfectly in his interview when he said, "Oh, online we play sometimes even 3 BO3s in a day, and I think that's way more tiring than 2 BO3s online."
Yeah, it's a different setting. Of course, you have all the service you need here, so you can just eat and rewind between the matches. You have enough time, so I think that's the case, what Faven was talking about. You can have back-to-back online matches, but you have at least 1 hour here between those two.
That's true, but I mean, even here, you have 5 players with different, they did like different conditions. Of course, the booth is AC'd, but everyone likes a little bit something else. You were mentioning even the space for the mouse, right? If you have the left-handed and right-handed player. So can this come into play that you're just, not comfortable?
That's true, that can affect someone, but I think all of these players are pretty experienced, of course. Some are less, some are more. Maybe the flashing lights around to celebrate the ending of the round can somehow flash you in a little bit, but...
Get blinded, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people are moving in front of you, the camera
it's
guys.
distracting.
There's some distractions for sure.
But the thing is, it's distracting for both sides. So I think it actually applies to both of them. Again, you said it well, both of you, because each player is different, right? Yes. So that's the truth, but it's still the same for both sides.
Yeah, and I think you're all still focused on the screen.
Yeah.
You're not really out of the zone. You're just aiming to the crosshair and looking at what's in front of you.
Right.
Plus, I think that for someone, it's even a huge motivation. For example, if we take a look at the past lands we had here, we had Bad News Eagles here in PlayStation Arena years back, and they had like Fnatic fans.
Sure.
They were cheering right in front of them, like 50 centimeters behind the monitor or something like that. That was crazy.
That's a really important fact you actually mentioned, because you can get the energy. And that's different from the online setting between those matches, because you can actually draw the energy. It's going to fill you up. It's going to help you a lot. And come on, let's be honest, it was 2-0. So it was rather quick for Fnatic now. So I don't think it's going to come into play now.
Okay, let's hear from the other side. Let's hear from a representative of ENCE. We have interview with Pody lineup.
Hello, Pody. Thank you so much for coming to the interview. Your first game online today. Do you think this may be a disadvantage since Fnatic played their game already?
I mean, probably they are warmed up, but I don't think it's really a disadvantage. Maybe they will start hot, but yeah, I don't think it's an advantage.
Did you see them play against 9, and is there anything you took from the game? Is there anything you discussed specifically for this game?
Not really. I mean, we watched a little bit, but we just prepared our own things and that's it. Not really from the game against 9.
So you are not preparing anti-strats, but more of your strats?
Yeah, I would say so.
When it comes to your schedule, what did you do this morning, this noon? Because you had some time to prepare or chill, so what did you do?
I mean, I slept a lot. I was just chilling in the morning. Then we went to dinner, or not dinner, but for lunch together. After we had a little walk together, and then we checked like some stuff that we're gonna do in game, like a game plan, and that's it pretty much.
You are still unbeaten in this tournament. Isn't that maybe a little bit of a disadvantage because the pressure is high now and you can't afford to lose not even single series now?
Not really.
Or maybe unfair?
I mean, not really. I don't think so. First of all, we only played 2 games, so it's not really like we played 7 games to get to the grand final or something, but yeah, I don't think so.
For you, as a Finnish player, how prestigious is to represent ENCE against Fnatic in the final of LAN tournament?
Yeah, of course, it's really nice. I mean, it was kind of like a dream to play for ENCE since I was watching them have this 2019 run with the Finnish roster, right? And it's the only like Finnish organization that's doing good right now, I would say, in CS, so yeah, it's a pleasure.
You want some more Finnish teammates for your organization, for your team?
For now, not really, but we'll see, maybe someday.
So you wouldn't change anyone, of course. For this match, is there something specifically you prepare for in terms of enemy players? Because there are big names like Blamev, Krims, Mattis right now. So is there anyone you are cautious about?
No, I wouldn't say so. We will just play our game and that's it. If we play good our game, I think it's gonna be a win for us.
Of course. Thank you so much for the interview and good luck.
Thank you.
This is something that maybe goes little unnoticed about ENCE, because for people who started to watch CS in, let's say, 2023, there was the Polish lineup, so the ENCE was not, for at least a little bit, it felt like it's not a Finnish organization, but more of a Polish one. They definitely have a lot of fans there. But Storm, do you have ENCE in your memory as fully Finnish, or more international one?
Both, I would say, because the international side was actually more recent, right? Because they managed to climb to the second position of the ladder. Eventually, they were there for quite a long time. And what struck me the most, what's in the back of my head, is that they were so often second in the big tournaments.
Yes.
And I think the last win, the big win on a big LAN, is actually IM Dallas in 2023, where they were able to manage to lift the trophy above their heads.
Yeah.
But that was the international roster, and that was before the Glaive era now.
Sampaio took place in top 20 HLTV for that season. He played really well, and now he will of course join G2 after the major, so I'm looking forward to that. And of course to the Polish era of ENCE, we need to remember, of course, the, let's say, giving the Polish passport to Glaive and renaming him into Łukasz Rosander and so on. So that was pretty fun. Internet had a blast with that, so I think every part of their era had something specific.
So far, we can see ENCE. This is going to be probably a new era for them. Top-rated team here, of course. Really sorry about. They are really sorry about missing Austin. Didn't work out. Actually managed to kick out from the competition. ENCE, it was 1-2 Swiss. They were able to pull it off. 2 extremely easy matches for them. They only lost 1. And the 2 new additions, gotta say, Kacpersky and Veto feel really good. They are even proving themselves here in the on-LAN environment. And Kacpersky is definitely a man that's aspiring to be an MVP of this whole tournament. Glaive, 4-time major champion. We were speaking about Crims. We cannot not mention this guy. I think these legends can sit side by side, and no one is gonna sit lower.
Yeah, and I love the beautiful scenery of Vyšehrad here in Prague, just vibing in there, and like some of them, look, they can really shoot with weapons and so on, so I think they wouldn't be lost even in medieval times. But Kacpersky, of course, the man who isn't lost as well in the online times and on server. Currently the statistical leader of the MVP, let's say, run, because he's definitely up there.
147 rating, 154 KD impact is the most important part. 171. That's crazy stats across 5 maps, of course. The road to here for ENCE was not easy, because they actually managed to overcome 2 overtimes, but they didn't lose a single map. Coming here, they managed to lose only 1. It was Dust 2, but from then it was a smooth sailing up to the finals.
Indeed. If you when you look at this roster with Kacpersky and Veto, do you think the ceiling for this team is higher than it was for the Snappy era, or even maybe the Polish one with Hades?
I honestly don't think so, that they will outfrag and outreach the Snappy's era, because there was something phenomenal. And despite don't having any, let's say, star name of huge worldwide potential or sound, they played a really good CS. Sampaio, I've mentioned him already. He was great. But of course, then the sad part, leaving ENCE departure towards Falcons, where everything fell apart.
Yeah, what didn't in Falcons, to be honest, in the late times.
Indeed.
But maybe now, of course, with the new iteration.
Very recent. Not the very recent.
But before that, it just didn't work out at all. Yeah.
Yes, if you spend enough, you will. There must be some solution, right?
That's true.
Okay, let's look at the roster right now once again. And is there some weakness that Fnatic can target? Because we said Fnatic complete team. And is there someone that you can be like, okay, let's go for OP duels and op duels, and we can base it on that, or let's find where the IGL is, and let's go to that side.
Well, I mean, when it comes to the big green players, I think Jumbo is a bit better currently when it comes to the form than Pody, but still Pody managed to frag yesterday quite well. It was the first day, I think. It wasn't really his time of the day, but still, there's not really any blatant weakness there. When you look at these 5, Glaive, SDY, Kacpersky, Pody, and Veto, who do you want to target? For me personally, no one.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the last match, NAQ wasn't feeling it that well, but other players were there at their top level. Yeah. And despite being kind of different on the scale, like Kaspersky with 47 kills, NAQ with 23, there was still a winning cocktail that was enough for Fnatic to beat them 2-0.
Yeah. Maybe the representative of the interview with a member of Fnatic, BlameF, will help us get around this question.
Hello, BlameF. Congratulations for the convincing victory. How do you feel right now? Momentum is high.
Yeah, I feel good. I'm happy that was a quicker game because we have one more game, so obviously we're happy that we didn't burn ourselves out with full energy. So yeah, it's good.
We are still sad we didn't see Train, so do you think there is a chance for the Veto, including Train, maybe in the first two maps for the finals?
I don't know the Veto yet, but I'm not sure because I don't think they will pick it. I don't think we will pick it. But yeah, I'm not the guy in charge of the Veto, so I don't know.
You managed to beat 9 on LAN for the second time in a row. You lost against them 2 times in a row online. What is the main difference playing them online versus online?
I don't want to be, BM or anything like that, but yeah, they don't feel that good on LAN. I'm not sure. Maybe they're a bit nervous when they play on LAN or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, it felt pretty easy. So yeah, I'm not sure honestly. Maybe they have some nerves or something. It's hard to tell. Or maybe we're just playing good on LAN. I'm not sure. It could be us as well.
I don't think this was the BM. That was more of an analysis, so it was fine. Against ENCE, what do you need to do differently? Because yesterday you didn't look like in your A game. So what is the main thing you need to change for today?
Yeah, I think just bringing good mood and making sure that we don't let bad rounds affect us properly. I think they're a really good team. I don't think it's we think that we're way better than them, but we have to win. Obviously, they beat us many times. I think for us, it's more about if we can somehow play an A game, then we have a chance to win. And if we're gonna, not communicate well and not move around the map and these things, then I think we're gonna lose. So yeah, for us to have a chance, we need to show up at an A game, and we just have to do that. And we showed we can do that because we just did it against the last team. So we just gotta continue with that.
In terms of experience and boosting your team play, you played 9 for 2 times. Now we'll play ENCE for the second time. Is that the best outcome from Prague you can take?
Maybe. I mean, for sure we need to win the event for us to be happy. But yeah, I think sometimes when you lose the first game, you have an advantage next game against. So maybe we have that against ENCE this time. But as I said, they beat us 3 or 4 times in a row.
Novas features que chegam como um headshot para eliminar o lag, ping alto, perda de pacote e disconnect. Valorant lagando? Use Traffic Shaper para mais aces. FPS dropando no Fortnite? Ative FPS Boost para mais kills. Disconnect no meio do LoL? Vem de Multipath para mais vitórias. Tiltar por travar é passado. Curta o futuro dos games powered by AI. Acesse já exitlag.com e assine agora.
How much is the term A game used in here during the interviews? I think I didn't hear that anyway, but it's so important to target the recent form into the best shape possible. Yeah. And most likely the LAN is the place you should outperform your LAN, of course, show your online showings, because this is where something is on the line, and sometimes it crumbles, but I think for me personally, the best showing should be on LAN.
Yeah, the best prizes and the best titles are won on LAN, so of course you have to perform in this setting. And Fnatic sure do look like a LAN team. Of course, they're fatigued by all the online tournaments. Even Krames, I think even BlameF said it. All the players usually say it, that you are potentially forced to play as much online tournaments as you can for the VRS points and so etc. So it takes a toll on you. But online you can actually spread your wings, you can actually show your true selves, and just think about the moment, connect with the fans, and actually try to win and do your best game. So maybe that's why the fans and the setting, that's what actually brings your A game usually.
Do you maybe think that it plays into hand of Glavy, that he's not against extremely young team? That there are the veterans. It's not like CS2 team, like players who started with CS2 and they don't know the mechanics of the Go, and it's just very different game. So Is it advantage for Glavy that he can call against Crims, against Blamef?
Well, that young kids who started on CS2 are still in a crib, not here on a server. So, well, it will take some time to see these youngsters. But of course, this looks like an experienced team. Blamef, of course, man on the interview, he's ready for this map. And match, of course, Mattis, Crims, Fear, Jumbo. Well, I think the loudest voice is the one they are speaking on the server, because yesterday, of course, they lost against ENCE, but their showing was decent. They played highly a team game. I've already mentioned that between the best and worst players of ENCE there was 24 kills, but in Fnatic only 12 kills difference, and the worst fragging was there actually IGL, and on the other hand in ENCE Nikyu didn't have his best day, so I think Fnatic are strong in the team game, but also they are able to frag piece by piece, and Matt is one of the best fragging ones, of course, still in the debate who will be the MVP at the end of the tournament, currently sitting after 7 played maps on a 131 rating, and here the other stats, 125 kills. Of course, he will get more than his opponents, but it's thanks to the more played map. And here, history, maybe the reason why we are talking about him the most.
Of course, he played his whole career, except of course, the part in Fnatic here in Czechoslovakian region, because we kind of join it together. It's not Czech scene and Slovak scene. It's kind of all together like a big family. And he went through some interesting teams, of course. Like he said in the interview yesterday, Enterprise, Sampi, that was the peak of the Czech era.
His last 2 teams, first Enterprise, red logo, then on the other side, blue logo, so now Fnatic, orange, somewhere in the middle.
So we were destined.
Yeah, I think so.
He even said in an interview that he actually firstly rejected Fnatic, that he tried to propel some team, Czechoslovakian team, to major. But then he realized that at the time it was just not possible, and he accepted the offer of Fnatic, of course, with the storyline of winning the Czech championships in